Good morning and welcome to today's live show. That's right, we slept good. So today's going to be a good day and we have a lot of things going on today. We got CPI this morning coming out right around that 3%, which happens to be just a little bit less than what we got in the previous reading. So we'll pay attention to that, coming down by about 0.1. So we'll see what the reaction to the market is at this point. Looks like that reaction initially is going to be to the upside. So we'll pay attention to that going forward, looking for some reversal signals here for some kind of 2-hour pullback. That's mainly what we're looking for at this moment. And we're noticing that we do have some divergences here. We have a 30-minute divergence here on the SPY right in front of your face here. And we need to pay attention to it because eventually this thing is going to pull back, and the higher we go, the bigger the pullback could be. So at this point, you really want to start seeing some healthy moves out of the market, seeing some kind of overall pullback. If you look at the SPY, the Qs, we have divergences on both, and we have a weekly range right above us for the Qs. Maybe that's the overall target. We're right there, so maybe we want to hit that first before any selling comes in, or maybe we just continue the craziness. We'll still pay attention to the signals. If this does not confirm, then that means that we are not going to see that downside just yet. Apple, we're seeing a divergence here as well, seeing divergence in the near price action. So Apple looking like it needs to back off just a little bit. Let me pull up my ranges here real quick. But thank you guys, because today we're going to be getting into, thank you for liking the video so we can get more people in here to talk about some technical analysis for the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, NVIDIA, AMD, and Meta going forward, looking at AMC and GME as well. Good stream ahead of us for today. A lot happening across the board. Just making sure I have my other charts up here so I can pay attention to them. As we look over at Apple, you're gonna notice, where is that? It's right at the weekly expected move. So this right here was a move towards that weekly expected move. We tag it, and now we'll see what happens from here. Are we going to complete this divergence? Are we going to roll over this 2-hour chart? That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And you do have divergence up here, but notice you are really far away from the center line. So that divergence doesn't necessarily look like it's holding too well on the RSI, right? Coming in very flat at this moment. So you do have it, but that's going to say pullback there for Apple. Tesla, this one here, going up towards, let's see where it's at. Ooh, just shy, just a little short of that weekly expected move. So one more turn up can happen. This has been very bullish. So you see the 30-minute really trailing down. You want to see if that's able to go negative today. Amazon, a bunch of wonky divergences here, but it is a moment of truth. And right now you're leaning to the bull side just barely. Seeing if that can break to the upside and go to a weekly expected move. Remember, we have about 6 points still to go higher if Amazon wanted to. NVIDIA, as we look at that, that is outside of its weekly expected move as of this moment. Now, this is where something crazy can happen. That daily scale can turn up and we can see some upward price action. So pay attention, because this is the swing trade signal. Right on this bar actually is sort of a swing trade signal. I would say the better one is actually this bar right here at 128. And then that thing curls up above the center line on the RSI, above the center line on the MACD. So you're just waiting for that to cross, and that could happen today, and we could see a nice big upward move. We'll pay attention to that because something crazy could happen at this area, because we're outside of that weekly expected move. But you still have a 68% chance to drop by Friday. By tomorrow, we do have a chance to drop there for NVIDIA. So paying attention to the shorter time frames, 30-minute, really looking for this to pull back at some point. But it looks like as of this morning, you're just gapping up. So you're going to be a little bit overbought right away in the morning. We'll have to see if that's going to be a gap and go, gap and crap. I don't know what it'll be, but we'll find out. AMD actually had some reversal signals up towards its weekly expected move. You do see it going above the weekly, above the monthly at this point for AMD. NVIDIA actually still has room up to its monthly expected move. Its monthly expected move, just so we're clear on NVIDIA, is up towards these highs up here. So it would make sense to head higher. Don't think it can't, but AMD is already outside of both. It's giving you divergences. It's telling you, hey, there's weakness here, and we could see that pullback on the 2-hour very soon. So be very cautious in this area, because we're noticing that a lot of these things have screamed higher for a long time without any kind of meaningful pullback on the 2-hour, and it looks like that might be coming very soon, so pay attention. Meta, this one a little bit different, right? So let's go check on that one real quick. Meta currently not at a weekly expected move. It's right in the middle of its range still. Now, this could be considered some kind of lower high. So we want to see that 30-minute. It was able to cross over. So right now the direction for Meta is down. Okay, it's telling you pullback. Then if that crosses that center line, that means that something a little more dramatic might be happening. Watch out if we start to lose that level of 526.80, because if we lose that, well, you can cut through all this pretty quick and head a little bit lower. So we'll pay attention to that. Look for that weekly expected move, maybe right around 517, right? We can come all the way down to something like 517 and it would make sense by Friday. Now looking over at Microsoft, we noticed that it was trying to make the next upward move. That's a great move here. But as you go negative, you have to be open to a lower high. And that looks like if this is able to cross down, we could start that negative trend here for Microsoft. Pay attention to that. Google, this one here showing a great reversal signal. You see it on the 30-minute. Ooh, look at that right there. So is that by the weekly expected move? Because that would be more telling. Not necessarily at this point. It's right in the middle at this point. So we could be seeing a pullback to that lower expected move. And that's why it's great to join the Patreon. It's great to take the course so you can understand how to use those weekly expected moves. But if you want to get those on your chart, just join the Patreon. The link's down in the description. It costs $7. It's literally like a cup of coffee a month and you will be much better. It's such a useful tool for trading. It's one of my favorite things in the whole entire stock market are these weekly ranges. And that could send us down towards something like a 186. So we could end up way down here, and that would be a 2-hour pullback, right? That would be a solid 2-hour pullback that then pulls down to the center line, right? We pull down to that center line and maybe we're able to curl back up one more time. We'll find out. AMC, these ones here are curled down on the 2-hour. This is curled down on the 2-hour, so you have to pay attention to that right now. If you want that 2-hour to curl back up, well, you need this 30-minute to get going. We're seeing some upward price action this morning. Really pay attention if this 30-minute is able to cross up, because positive territory is right there. You cross up one more time, you can test this high, go make a new one. You could make a lower high. So pay attention if we actually start to break through 579. That's the important level to break through. At this point, we have GameStop trying to turn back up. See if that 30-minute is able to turn back up in positive territory. As of right now, the 2-hour has not crossed down for GameStop. So kind of bullish signal there. What you're looking for in the grand scheme of things, AMC's already done it. So what you're looking for right now is for this daily to curl up at some point. You really need that daily momentum with you. If you can get that signal to trigger, we might go into, if we trigger that today, Friday might be a big day for GameStop. So just pay attention, all right? Now, looking across the board, things are starting to open up. Let's click back over to volatility just for a moment before we get into these stocks. What do we notice from volatility? Well, it was ripping this morning. It really was kind of ripping up over in the last period of the day. It ripped up and then we started to head a little bit higher, and then we got the data and that really dropped off. So we're going to pay attention to that going forward, because the data came out as 3%, where it was previous, I think 3.1. So the inflation rate did come down just a little bit, but is that enough to really send us higher from this level? We'll find out. The dollar dropping off dramatically with that news into one of our zones. We can look at this from the 2-hour scale. Look at that. We hit a trend line. We're going up or down into our zone here, which last time proved as some kind of support. So we'll pay attention to this, but right now that 2-hour at least needs to turn up. Let's look at a 4-hour, and what you're noticing here is you might get a divergence on the MACD, but not on the RSI. That is a dramatic drop off right there of the dollar. It really, really is. So looking down, something that could be affected by this is oil. Oil is starting to curl down. Remember, we mentioned there was some divergence up in this area up towards our point of 84.72. So you have to pay attention to it. As of right now, I think you're looking at this 2-hour, seeing if that can curl down. If that curls down, that means negativity will be here and you're continuing the negative trend. What are we noticing for Bitcoin? Bitcoin actually found its base. On the 2-hour, you can notice how this is a higher low. That got you close to the center line. It crossed up, went positive for a moment. Now it's backed off and it's crossed up one more time. So as of right now, pretty bullish for Bitcoin, but we have to pay attention to if this 4-hour curls down at any time, because that can send us down into my zone. And I'm leaning towards that. I would really like to see one more push down into this zone to really create a little bit stronger base. Just a tap of that zone would be nice to create that base. Get some kind of clear divergence here. You do not have divergence down here because of the higher low. So if you can go create one right now, that would be a good look for Bitcoin. But as of right now, bullish and bullish territory, bullish and positive territory, 2-hour. curling up positive and positive territory, so you can't talk too much crap on that, right? Now we'll look at the daily scale for Bitcoin, and that thing is starting to curl up today, so that's telling you that Bitcoin is going to see some kind of bounce. We got to see what comes from that. But good morning, folks. How we doing out there this morning? I hope that all of your trades are going well. I'm sorry I missed the stream yesterday. I was feeling very, very off pretty much the day before yesterday, towards the nighttime. And then baby girl kind of kept us up late, so very hard to sleep. She woke up like every hour on the hour, and so I just woke up and I was like, I just can't, because you guys know when I'm the times where I've gotten on and I've been like really, really tired because baby girl gives me a rough night. I just feel like I'm not doing you guys like a fair service. Like I don't feel like I'm as helpful as I could be, and I don't want to mess anything up for you guys. So I want to make sure that I have a clear head when I'm giving you guys these kind of lessons and how to look at these things, and we're paying attention to momentum, and I'm giving you a second opinion. I want to make sure to be doing a good job. I really do. So thank you guys so much. Can you look at home and SMR, please? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Reese. Good morning, Landon, Nyson, Scott. How we doing? How we doing? The truth is out there, man. The truth is out there, and the truth is in here too. Good morning, Jay Cole. Welcome back. Thank you so much for welcome back. Josh, thank you for helping or saying that. Hey, you feel better. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Azadine, thank you so much. Dave, thank you for joining this morning. What is it? Nostradamus. I'm trying to get through some. Jackson, Carlos, Lil AR15. Lil AR15. I feel like you've been kind of a little quiet these days. I love Lil AR15 coming in here. Hope daughter gets better, man. Yeah, she is better. Like, it's not that she's bad. I think she just like, had tummy issues throughout the entire night and couldn't let loose. You know what I mean? So, yo, what up, Rapid? All right, let's look at HIMS real quick to start off the day. Let's check one that we haven't checked in a little bit. All right, let's check this. I would say a 2 hour is going to make this clear. Right now, curling up by the center line, that could be a good sign for the stock. It really, really could. This kind of tells me with this kind of pulled down, and then now we're starting to curl up by positive territory. This kind of tells me that that daily is at least trying to rotate up. Okay, so the daily is starting to rotate up, and that's important to understand, because what happens a lot of the time, you see a bullish move. Then if you miss out on that move, a lot of people try to chase and they don't be patient and wait for that pullback. Right now you're getting that pullback. If this daily can curl back up, the RSI is already turned above the center line. You got a bar trying to get above the 9, so we're working on that swing trading course. Most likely that will be done. I'm going to try to finish that thing today or tomorrow so that we can have it out for the weekend and you guys can learn how to, swing trade. And it's a great, great thing to start with. And maybe it would be a great starting point to then go forward into my next course. So I think it's a very good thing to do. And I think a lot of people were interested in it, especially just getting like the obvious, like when to enter, when to exit kind of deal. So we're going to do that. We're going to make it nice and cheap, because swing trading, it's a great entry thing. And I want anyone to be able to trade in this market. So I'll try to get that out as soon as possible. But this one here, all you're waiting for pretty much is that MACD to curl up. So if you get a closing bar above both of these moving averages here, it looks like a swing trade to me. And that's what I got to say about HIMS. The market never goes down. Well, at certain times, the market will never go down until it goes down abruptly. So that's kind of why I'm like looking and asking the market, like, hey, get the 2 hour pullback already, or else we might be in store for something a little bit more dramatic. So that's kind of more the thinking with that, is just like, I would like to see a 2 hour pullback so that this thing has the potential to head higher, right? So this makes sense. If it continues to not make sense and not make sense and not make sense and not make sense, well, then I'm going to say, hey, we're building up for, in the fall, some kind of dramatic drop. As of right now, if we keep backing off on the 2 hour and seeing that curl up, that would be a good sign that this could go all the way into the beginning of 2025. So it's looking like fall, we're going to see some dramatic price action, or the beginning of 2025, we're going to see that dramatic price action. Remember, we say this all the time, the craziness can continue. Anytime we curl up on this MACD, you know that the craziness is continuing. Look at that, great little trade, great swing trade. So we got to get that video out for you guys. But thank you guys for joining this morning. Make sure to smash that like button as you guys come in. I really appreciate it. If you can tell, I slept all the way up until about 7 a.m., which usually I wake up at like 6:30, and then at 7 a.m. I just got to hang out with the girls for a little bit. We watched a little show and made coffee, played with the dogs a little bit. So it was a good morning overall, and I love good mornings. I love good vibes, and I just want to pass those on to you guys. Good news is bad for the market. Well, yeah, so now it's going to get to the point where a slowing inflation rate, you have to think of it this way as well. So I just want to make this very simple, maybe for someone who doesn't understand how to read data or how things affect the market. A high inflation rate actually makes sense for stocks to be valued higher. Now, why is that? It's just because the overall inflation will inflate assets. What are assets? Assets are stocks. So it makes total sense during a time where you actually have higher inflation that you actually end up seeing prices higher. It is actually when that inflation starts to taper back, unemployment starts to go up, and then the Fed is forced to cut the rates because of, say, bank failures, commercial real estate problems, anything like that can happen. Something to really shake up this market. We don't know what that thing will be. Usually if it is the most obvious things you're looking at, usually that thing won't be the thing. Usually it's something no one really expects except for a few handfuls of people. So the overall statement I'm getting at here, though, is if inflation is higher, then assets inflate. So as inflation starts to back off, that technically means that these stocks are still inflating, just not at the rate that they were, say, a few months ago. Okay, so that's important to pay attention to. And then what happens from there? Well, inflation starts to drop. You go into unemployment and recession, and then that actually causes deflation, which will deflate the assets. Yeah, okay, Mark said it for me. Thank you, Mark. Mark's got it right away. Deflation is on the table. Exactly. Perfect. Awesome. I'm glad that's happening. Robert, what are you saying to me? Luca was my soccer teammate. I was a winger, and he was the other winger, and it was Luca and Lucas. And then we would switch sides at half. We would switch sides to confuse the defense. It was awesome. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he said he uses a 3-hour chart because by doing that, he gets the reading of both worlds from the 2 and 4 hour. You're pretty much, yeah, you're taking the average between the 2 and the 4 hour. I don't necessarily like trading too much on the 4 hour, except for sometimes you'll see that 4 hour divergence when a daily chart is about to roll over. So 4 hour divergence is very, it's just tighter. The 2 hour is more fluent. You see more triple divergences on the 2 hour, but the 2 hour is very fluent. That's why I like it. The 4 hour can have more of a choppy look, but sometimes it really adds up, right? We have a daily that's just going higher and higher, right? So if I pull up a 4 hour right now, what do you notice? Well, we have these divergences across the way, but look how overextended it is on this side of the table. So as of right now, do I want to read into these divergences? Well, the RSI is not giving me it at the same time. So that could mean 4 hour pull back, and then that curls back up over time. And then that's when I will really pay attention to if that sets up, because that timing makes a little sense. We start to leak into the end of the summer, leak into the fall a little bit, and we get into election time, and I believe that they might do something funky. You know, the Fed might do something funky because I think he's just doing whatever the elite is telling him to do. The Fed is, because why would they print all that money and really hurt the American people, like right in front of their face? So at this point, I think if it's like, oh, Trump is a shoo-in, I think that they do something funky with the market in the fall to kind of mess with Trump as he gets into office, if he's able to get into office. But Biden right now. Did anyone see the Biden video recently of him saying like he's effing someone's wife? Dear, my goodness, like what is going on, man? Like he obviously said like I was talking to your wife. Like that's what he was trying to say, but because of his like stutter and his terrible speech right now, it sounded bad, guys. It sounded really, really bad. Like, really bad. Biotech is good. Yeah. Like I said, I like to stick with tech stocks, just regular tech stocks, because that's just what I know. I was talking to my friend yesterday. I had a friend over at the end of the day trying to teach him a little bit about like the proper times to invest and things like that. Just kind of teach him like the basics of the MACD to try to invest on the monthly scale, and just like getting him to admit, like, I know about these things. Now admit, does this stock look like a good investment? And he's like, no. Does this one look like a good one? He goes, no. And then I go, okay, what about these ones? He's like, okay, yes. Like something that actually is starting to turn into a good investment, weirdly enough, is if Tesla is able to curl up on this monthly. I mean, look at this thing. It really wants to curl up. You have a lot of month left, but there was a short seller problem at some point in Tesla. So I'm interested to see what happens with that going forward. But as of right now, you're seeing some big downward divergences here, some big downward divergences. Those can resolve themselves just by curling up on a MACD, seeing a big move. So we'll see about that. TLT is up. That's because of the reaction to the 10-year yield. That's a reaction to the inflation data. So obviously, if inflation comes down, the 10-year yield will drop off and the TLT will see some kind of big gap up. That just makes total sense at this point. We're seeing that yield drop back down, curling down on the daily side. So this is a moment where you got to pay attention and say, hey, yields are dropping off very quickly. Weirdly enough, is this actually a signal that something in the system is kind of sick right here and we might have to see those yields drop off pretty quickly? We'll find out. That 2 years starting to drop off pretty quickly. So a lot of people going to be pricing in rate cuts now. And I just think that that's still wrong. We're still at 3%. And if we start to cut rates right now, if the Fed starts to cut rates right now, you have this, you still have, okay, this is what's going on. Let's just make it clear. And you might want to write this down. Like genuinely, this is something to keep in your brain all the time with what is going on with our economy, with these rate raises, with all this stuff. It is, the Fed is right now in the middle and they are stuck. They are absolutely stuck. And the housing market is starting to collapse before your eyes. It's just doing it very slowly. We have unemployment going up, which can cause people to fail on their payments of their house. While unemployment's going up, we're seeing no buyers really coming back into the market still. Really no buyers coming back to the market. We're seeing sellers still try to, even when they do cut a price of a house down $10,000, if that doesn't sell in a month, they just unlist it and relist it for the higher price again later on. So you have a market where the prices of the homes are high, people are not willing to come down on the price, and then you have a lack of buyers across the country. So that is a big deal. And then you add the fact that a lot of people are sitting in their homes, maybe on those 3% rates, add unemployment to that. It is a recipe for disaster for the housing market. Now, that was kind of a random thing, but it's just good to know. But that being said, so that's a tough situation. And then at the same time, what is the Fed able to do with all of this stuff going on? They're able to do nothing. They can't do anything. And that's the point here, because they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. The rock would be, hey, if we actually leave the rates higher, if we cut rates, well, then we have the potential for inflation to come back. We're only at 3%. We are not at 2%. We are not below 2%. So we do have the potential, if you cut rates too soon, that buyers flood into the market at these high prices of homes. And then we see hyperinflation. We see a crazy amount of inflation come into the market, because now you're talking about these elevated prices and the rate is lower. So that would actually cause the housing market to go insane, most likely, because these people might need to actually buy a home. Then at the other side of that spectrum, they're stuck again, just because if they do not cut the rates, the longer they keep these rates higher, yes, it will start to slowly fight inflation, but you can see how much stress the banks are under right now. So if you actually keep those rates higher for even longer than what we're doing right now, you are just adding more fuel into the tank, and then you're just waiting for a lit match to hit that tank to explode, because the banking system will really keep suffering as long as these rates are higher. And these banks probably already should have collapsed. They're probably already being artificially held up, just so you are aware. But that's what you're stuck between. You're stuck between hyperinflation and bank failures, and eventually they're just going to hold it where it's at. And then, so it is not their fault. They are not, this is most likely what is going to happen. They are not going to make a decision because they don't want any of the fault to be on them. They aren't going to make this decision. They aren't going to make this decision. They aren't going to raise rates. They aren't going to cut rates. They're going to leave them higher for longer, say what we were doing is working, and we just need to see more data. You've probably heard that a lot. We need to see more data, see more data. That's because they're always most likely going to say that. And then once they actually do cut rates, it will be because something in the system is breaking. Something very serious in the system is breaking. And that is what I truly believe. And I think that they are not going to make any kind of move because they do not want any accountability for whatever is going to happen. I'm being genuine about that. That is my true belief at this point. I think it's proven in a lot of the housing data. Random tangent, but that needs to be known. Like, it has to be known. You have to know where the Fed is at and why, even though they see little bits of better data, why they aren't reacting. It's because if they would react to one good piece of data, they're actually going to possibly cause hyperinflation. And that is because of how the housing market looks right now. The housing market is literally hitting levels that every single time in the data that we hit these type of levels, you start to see things unfold within the next 3 to 6 months. So you pretty much have, like right now, the housing market's telling you have about 3 to 6 months. Okay, you have 3 to 6 months before something is fishy is going to happen. All right, let's look at some stocks for you guys. Let's look at Deck first. Is that Deckers? The Deckers. Ooh, big fall off here. Why did this fall off? You had the 2-hour divergence. You had the flatness, the 2-hour divergence that confirmed and then just dropped off a cliff. Very interesting behavior there. I wonder what went on with this. I wonder what news really brought this down. Maybe I could look for that on here real quick. Let's go look for some news for Deckers real quick. I'm seeing no news for Deckers. I'm really seeing no news for Deckers out there as of right now. So this here, it's a sporadic downward move, right? So you want to see if you can figure out what's going on here. Right now, you don't even have divergence in the near price action. Now, did you have 30-minute divergences that said this was going to pop? You really did. You really did have this flatness down here, right, of the price action, and then you saw this upward move. So this right here makes sense. And then here's the thing. This is why taking the course is such a good thing. And because I would just a FYI, for anyone that was like, oh, I missed out on the $100 price. I've been a little bit like off, feeling like sick and sleepy and awful. So I have not messed with the course at all. So if you go in the link in the description, it is still going to be $100 right now. And I'll just treat it as an extension of the sale at this point because I don't want to change it during the live stream. So, hey, if you're interested, it's pretty much like if you're here for the live video, you're the only one that knows that. So if you click on the course right now, you can get it for $100 still, just so you're aware. But I'm going to change that as I'm feeling better today. I'm going to change that today. So just get it while you can, pretty much. You got lucky if you were, trying to get it and I happened to get a little bit sick, so I'm not feeling the best, but now I'm feeling great. So with this here, you don't have any kind of reversal signals, so you really want to wait for that reversal signal, and this is why I was talking about the course. This right here is managing the trade. This is managing the trade. This is managing the trade. This is what you learn in the course. The last video of the course, we teach you how to manage your trade. Right here, it curled down. The 30-minute curled down. That said, I am still close to negative territory. I'm at least in some kind of pullback, but since I'm close to negative territory, you have to be aware there is a good probability that that can cross. That did cross. That even went negative right here on this bar. So this bar took you negative. This bar makes total sense. This is where managing the trade very closely can really help you out because this told you right here to get out. Right on this bar, right at 947.80, and now we see the big drop. Now you're waiting for that to stack back up, maybe get a higher low or get some kind of divergence to get you closer to that center line at this point. So managing the trade coming in full force here for Deckers if you've taken the course. MicroStrategy, is that no, that's Micron. Which one's MicroStrategy? Someone's got that for me? Let's look at Upstart while we do it. While we wait for someone to give me the ticker. I can't remember all the tickers all the time. 2-hour curled up, great swing trade, no real reversal signals. I don't think there was. Yeah, no real reversal signals in here. So you probably had some little divergence that led to this, and then you just curl up. Positive territory, rejection of the MACD. That's why it's great to wait for that MACD. MSTR, that's it. But this here, great move. Now you want to say, hey, I missed out on the move. That might be chasing. Let's look at a daily scale, though. Let's look at a daily scale. So the daily did turn back up. Okay, so that is the daily turn up right there telling us, hey, we could see some kind of bounce. boom, we get a little pullback, and then we see that big bounce going up towards that 200. So it is a time where you're going positive. You can go test that 200, but it looks like to me, is the 2 hour overbought? Yeah, so you need some kind of 30-minute or 2 hour pullback. Tony T, thank you so much for subscribing. I think a 30-minute pullback is something great to pay attention to here. See if that's able to curl down to the center line and curl up in positive territory, kind of like we did right here. You see this right here, big upward move, we get overbought, we curl down to that center line, one little pop up, and boom, it's off to the races. So similar things happening right here. Oh, we curl down to the center line, curl down to the center line. Okay, we pop up, oh, boom, positivity. That's kind of what you're looking for some kind of entry into Upstart at this point. That's what I would have to say. Now let's go look over at MicroStrategy. And what do we notice here? Well, we're curling up. We were able to go positive, and we curled up on the 30-minute positive territory. Awesome. Okay, the 2 hour is curling up. You have a flat divergence down here on the RSI, so a good move can come. But is that RSI divergence enough to flip up the daily scale? The daily scale here not flipped up just yet. So you still have to be a little bit aware that this 2 hour is in negative territory, and you do not have both the MACD and the RSI giving you that reversal signal at the same time. Now, this is a great upward move. So most likely all you're going to see here is some kind of 30-minute pullback. I know it just crossed up, but really what you would like to see from this is maybe it lingers up here for a while, and then we kind of drift off a little bit, and then that turns back up, because you want that to get down by the center line. But this is a great move. It's just overbought right away. SMR, yeah, we can look at SMR real quick. SMR, this one here is the one we were talking about, the 30-minute divergence at the high. Now, we also said if that has to break through, that's okay, but you are creating those divergences right now. So just be aware of that. It doesn't mean this is bearish at all. This is bullish because you're breaking through this high. It's very bullish, but you have to be aware of the signal in front of you. If this crosses down, there could be some weakness here. And the reason that we could see some weakness here is because we have 2 hour divergences as well. So when you have 2 hour divergences as well, then you want to say, is there a potential for the daily to curl down? Is there a potential? Well, this thing has been going up and up and up and up for a very long time, and now you're starting to see that weakness in momentum. You're getting triple divergences on a 30-minute. You're getting triple divergences on a 2 hour, all at the same time, which tells you this daily can start to pull back. Will it pull back to the 20, or will it see something dramatic and pull back to the 50? We don't know. All we care about is if that is going to experience a pullback, watch, because that doesn't necessarily have reversal signals. Yeah, we got divergence way across the way. We'll see if that adds up into anything. Usually you need it in the near price action. So if that curls down, curls back up, we could see a brief pullback like this and turn right back up in positive territory. That's how I would look at SMR. Now let's go look over at a few. Someone mentioning Apple down a little bit here, and Apple's one of them that is confirming a 30-minute divergence at this area. So pay attention, because this is being confirmed. The main signal I think we want to look for is that 2 hour pullback going to come. I think it looks very likely very soon. That's what it looks like to me for Apple. That 2 hour pulls back, and then maybe we can make another upward move. Tesla, this thing still just screaming higher. Remember, this thing just going, going, going. That's perfectly fine. All you want to pay attention to is, remember, this is a bullish market too. I say this a lot and people still short, but it's very hard to fully short a bullish market like this. A very bullish stock like Tesla is very hard to short. Now you're seeing it go up dramatically in a small amount of time relatively. And so you're thinking like, oh, this thing has to break down. But the truth is, when it breaks down, it's going to be a little bit hard to time. They could keep this thing going up to, say, 300 before they fully want to break it down. Now, I believe there's a lot of percentages saying, hey, this has a 68% chance to land, at least down towards that 230 area by the end of the month. So it's a good time to pay attention, but we're not necessarily seeing the reactions out there. We're not seeing the dollar gain some steam. We're not seeing volatility go. It's still remaining at higher levels, but as these things come down, you got to be aware of that. At this moment, though, things are looking pretty toppy. Things are looking pretty toppy here. So let's go look at Tesla over here on my other charts. Because I believe it was it's heading up towards the weekly expected move right now. So 271. 271 looks like where this thing is headed right now. It looks like it's beelining straight for it. So if you start to break above 271, you can see another crazy thing from Tesla. But as we break through 271 and momentum looks a little bit weak here, I would say it looks like we're going to see some kind of pullback. But remember, that could just be a pullback that goes down a little bit and pulls back with time and then just breaks through to the upside. So we're still looking for that. That is going to curl up here. That's technically bullish. And then we want to see if this can go negative. So 30 minutes showing you a bunch of stuff here. I think you got a good likelihood for this 2 hour to pull back a little bit deeper. Moo. Micron, great move. Great little 2 hour rejection divergence right here. So if we tune into an hourly, you're going to see that curling down, curl up by the center line. Great move. Now you want to say, like the 30 minute, it got cooked. And so what are you looking for when these big moves happen? Well, you're looking for some kind of pullback to really prove if you missed out on the initial move, right? Then you want to say, okay, I need to wait for some kind of pullback in order for that to swing back up and tell me there's more positivity. So this could keep doing this or move sideways and then curl right back up. That would be more of a signal to pay attention to. Now, one thing to also pay attention to is this right over here is further away from the, wait, let me see here. Yeah, they're about even, but you do have this on the RSI, which is a little bit concerning, but the high here does go higher, so it would make sense, that look of the MACD. I don't think it's divergence at this point. I just think a 30-minute pullback to convince you, like, hey, this is the actual move going to break through this level up here would be nice. This one, ooh, good. Okay, so 30-minute curled up right here. Bunch of divergences across the way. Steep divergence at the end here. This is a great divergence at the end here, but you do have triple divergence across the board. So that curled up right here on this bar. So 359, now we're up towards 430. Very, very good move. See if it curled up the 2 hour. It rejected. Okay, so you got the rejection divergence. You had one divergence here. So now we actually have to pay attention to, is the daily going to cross up here? If the daily crosses up here, you have daily divergence as well. This looks like it could see a solid bounce. I'm just going to say that. That is what my momentum indicators are telling me. It says a solid bounce can come. I'm closer to the center line now. Maybe I want to see that upward move. So that looks pretty good. Google 1% down. Let's go check on Google for a second because that one had some good reversal signals here. 30-minute is confirming that reversal signal as of right now. That is bearish contrarian signal as of right now until that crosses that center line. Now, these 30-minute divergences, you got to see, are they curling over 2 hours? We just got the rejection of the 2 hour. So that is a sign that Google is going to pull back, and you see the divergence there on the RSI as well at these highs. The MACD not showing you like the best, but the RSI right here is showing you that downward move, and that's telling me, hey, this 2 hour has a high probability to pull back. Doesn't mean it can't swing back up, but it does tell you there's a good probability this 2 hour is going to see a pullback. Lucky week for me. End phase, or is that a different one? End phase? End-phase, great move here. Look at that rejection divergence. This bar right here, really, really convincing. $99. Sure, you see it drop off, but look at that thing go. Was this able to curl up the daily chart? It is as of today. So you notice how by taking the course, you can learn about those 2 hour divergences a little bit better, learn about rejections and things like that, looking at an hourly. But as of right now, that would have got you in somewhere around 99, right? Right around that $99 price mark. And look at that, going up towards 113. Very, very good move. Congratulations, Paulina. Great trade setup, great look there. I love it, and congratulations. That is awesome. Johnson & Johnson. Let's go, Johnson & Johnson. Okay, right now you got to be positive on it, right? We have a lot of flatness here that's getting us towards that positive territory. So you got to be a little bit positive on the daily scale. But when you look at a 2 hour, you got to see if it's overbought, because if it's overbought, you might see some kind of stalling out, some kind of pullback with time. I don't know, anything like that can happen. So if we want to pull back with time here and then see that thing scale up, it would be interesting to see what goes on with earnings as well. Earnings right around the corner, literally right around the corner. So a lot going on with this guy here. 30-minute, you can just see pulls back to the center line, curls up. That's mainly what we're looking for here. We don't want to be chasing anything, but the daily scale is turning up. I focused on the recovery stocks. That's nice. That's a good strategy there. Yeah, we can look at Visa. Visa, oh, this looks like maybe a 2 hour. Yeah, 2 hour divergence. This is a 2 hour divergence here. So you want to see if this completes. If this is able to complete, well, then you have a time where you could see like a whole couple weeks or a month's worth of positivity from your daily chart here. So the daily could actually turn up from this area. You're seeing that slight little divergence on the RSI. So if this is able to curl up on that 2 hour, you might take back the 200 and see a solid move, maybe to at least come and retest the 50 at this point is what I would say looks kind of likely. So you could be seeing a 10 to 15% or 10 to 15 point move from Visa soon if it is able to complete this 2 hour divergence. So what do we want to look for in here to see if that 2 hour is going to curl up? Do we have 30-minute divergence in this overall move? We do across the way. We don't in the nearest drop. So really a lot of the time, if you want that 2 hour to curl up, you're going to see this 30-minute go like this, and then drop off, do something like that. And then that will be more of your signal like, hey, this is a perfect entry at this point. A lot of my strategy is finding these signals that are about to confirm and then looking at the shorter time frame, seeing if it has another signal that says, hey, yeah, this is adding up to things. And then you go into that one and you say, okay, is the 30-minute doing it too? Perfect entry. That's how it looks. Thank you, Nyson. Like I said, I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling refreshed. I needed that little break, little bit sick, little bit, just not really even like sick, just like worn down a little bit. And I think my body was kind of like just shutting down for a day. And I was like, man, I at least got to try to post a Patreon. So there's a few things on Patreon we were doing, but let's see how some of those are working out. AMD was one of the things we mentioned on Patreon, just showing you, and we said this in the video, watch for that to go up to the weekly expected move and create that divergence, because that's what's happening as of right now. So it's a great time to join that Patreon. You get a weekly update video, which pulls up those ranges that you get on Patreon, and we talk about those ranges and what could form over the next couple of days that you should be looking for. Yeah, we'll look at NVIDIA in a moment here. So we'll see here if AMD is able to curl over this 2 hour chart. That's what this mostly leads towards, is some kind of 2 hour pullback. Okay, let's go look at NVIDIA, seeing that drop down just a little bit this morning. Looking at the 30-minute, there's not really a ton of divergences on the MACD. You just see them on the RSI. This is what we were kind of pointing out on Patreon. And then we just said, but watch out, because this is seeing the similar signal while AMD is seeing a little bit more weakness too. So what you want to pay attention to here is 30-minute pull back to the center line, curl up. Okay, awesome. We could see that positivity. Now, if it's going to be more dramatic, this 2 hour looks like it needs to pull back a little bit, but this isn't overbought by any means. You're getting a daily to turn up. So if that daily turns up, you might just get one brief 30-minute pullback and then see that thing start ripping again. So just pay attention. Right now, the move is up in positive territory. So you can't really be too negative on this. You could mostly just say, hey, a 30-minute pullback is happening. If that is overextended, right? If we keep going, then that 2 hour is going to pull back. But as of right now, you're just saying, hey, 30-minute pullback, maybe even just move sideways, right? Pull back with time, and then see that break to the upside, getting this MACD down by the center line to curl up into positive territory. PayPal is popping. Let's go, dude. We've been waiting for this for a minute, man. We have been waiting for this for a minute. The greatest part about this is the little 2 hour pullback, but we noticed the divergences here. We said, hey, if that divergence can complete, that's going to be a good sign. Good sign, pulled back down to the center line, very tight, curling up right now. So that is a very good look. You want to see if the daily chart's able to follow. It is right now, and you're starting to test that 200. You can break above that. You can see a solid move from PayPal. Note, you don't have daily divergences down here, but see if that thing's able to go positive. If it curls down, negative territory, not the moment, right? So 2 hour, getting towards that overbought area, but maybe that big move is coming. 30-minute, getting overbought, so we still could see some sideways price action as we just broke above this high. It would be nice to move sideways, get this to just kind of mellow out on the RSI, and then see that thing turn back up. Great trade setup there. Yeah, and see, that's why Tesla, I was like mentioning how, you know, all these tech stocks you're saying are down, but Tesla is up. That's why I was mentioning, like, Tesla did have a short seller problem, and I wonder if that's fully been taken care of. I don't know necessarily. But Legini, I'm very happy for your PayPal move. It looks great. Plug is going crazy. I used to trade Plug, actually. I've traded Plug before. This one here as well. I believe we have a 2 hour divergence down here as well. Now, we didn't catch this one, but you notice this is the type of signal you're looking for. Notice every single time we see a pop, what signal do you see? This right here, okay? That's a great signal. You see it on the RSI down there at the same time. It's very, very significant. That is very significant there. And what are you noticing? Well, that crossed up on this bar and it just kept going, and it's kept going, and it's kept going. So was the daily able to turn up there? Yes, it was. The daily turned up a couple days later after that signal on the 2-hour was confirmed. A couple days later, we turn up and a boom, a big upward move. You have daily momentum with you. You could just keep going in this overall move. Sure, at times, like if you're like, hey, I want to be in this move, well, then you got to wait for your moment. You got to wait for this 30 minutes to pull back, kind of like we did over here. It's like, if I missed out on this signal and I wanted to try something here, well, let me just wait to see if that's going to look good over time. Hey, it looks good now. Boom, to the upside. Very, very good trade setups here. Yeah, there might be some rotation. I think you're calling that out pretty right there, Paulina. What usually happens on overbought? Well, it's not necessarily what happens in overbought. It's more so just a signal of like, hey, is this a good entry? Like if something is overbought, is it a good time to buy it? Is overall what you want to take from that. It's like, no, let me be like, the point of it is practice good habits as a trader. Good habits as a trader is going to be not chasing. And if you see a move and you want to be a part of it, you need to wait for something to set up for yourself. You can't just go into things willy-nilly. You can say, hey, I like to trade on the daily scale. Is this turning up on a daily chart? Okay, awesome. Daily momentum is with me. But like to just say, oh, this is screaming higher on a 2-hour and therefore it's going to just keep going into overbought territory. It can, but it can also rug pull, it can consolidate, and you would rather practice a good habit like waiting for consolidation and then waiting for the breakout, waiting for the curl up of the MACD. What is XFI? I don't even think I've looked at this before. Expensive, huh? See, like this one here. This is a great example of what we just talked about. When you're trying to be a good trader, okay, and maybe I'm a trader that's doing the 30-minute chart pretty often. Okay, so at this big move, it said curl up positive territory. So I go, oh yeah, that's my signal. The only problem is you're already very overbought. Okay, so if you're very overbought, you want to wait for this MACD to get close to the center line. Just be patient, practice good habits. Even if that didn't happen and this just kept going, it doesn't mean I chase, unless I'm looking at a different time frame, right? Unless I'm seeing things confirm on a better time frame. But as of right now, the 30-minute, it's pulling back with, I would say, overall time. I don't think this is really pulling back downward too much from where we've ended in the past, right? We're actually higher up. But you want to see if that's able to curl up and go positive. As of right now, this is a 30-minute swing trade signal. The only last confirmation you're looking for is that MACD to turn up. So it's a little bit risky because the MACD is not confirming it yet, but the MACD does lag behind. And a lot of the time when you swing trade, you are trying to get in a little bit before that MACD crosses up. You would like this MACD to be slightly closer, in my opinion, but maybe we see some kind of brief pullback to fill that gap. And then you see that signal again, and this is much closer to crossing, and you can say, okay, let me take that with some confidence. But that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a swing trade to the upside as of right now, but this is what you're looking for. This is what I just talked about. When you see a big move, you don't want to chase. You want to just practice good habits. Even if that goes up, you want to practice good habits, and that is waiting for this MACD to curl down to the center line, waiting for the RSI to give me some room to get overbought again. Yeah, we can check out Hood. Hood had some interesting signals a few weeks ago. I'm interested to see. Okay, so we just been consolidating. I believe it was a 2-hour signal. Yeah, 2-hour divergences across the way. So we called this out. We called it out multiple times around this area. So we just said, hey, there is a ton of 2-hour divergences that can lead to some kind of 2-hour drop, some kind of daily pullback. Let's see if that daily pullback's come. Yes, it has. Now you're seeing the swing trade signals that they're saying like, hey, I'm close to crossing. I'm above the center line of the RSI and I'm heading to the upside. So right now you would say this is a bullish look for Hood and it just needs to confirm on the MACD. But that's overall what we're getting at here. But it's cool to see how our little thing when we talked about Hood the last time, sometime in June, how that actually has played out. Now you're moving sideways. So look at this. That 2-hour curling up right there by the center line, that might be something to pay very close attention to, especially if we start to get closings, I would say above this level right here, 23.15. If you can close above that level with a 2-hour bar, it's looking pretty good for some upside, looking like we might curl up the daily chart here. Well, and spicy avocado, I mean, I don't know if, like, I don't pay for data because I'm like, hey, I'll wait the 5 seconds or whatever. And at the end of the day, they're showing you the numbers they want to show you. We've learned a lot about dark pools over the last few months. And what do we know? Well, if they wanted to, they can take any stock, send everything to dark pools, and then the stock just stays the same or goes in whichever direction that they're trying to get it to go. They could send all the selling in NVIDIA to dark pools, and that would cause maybe NVIDIA to go higher. So technically what you're saying is kind of, I think, right. I think you're right in saying that. But I would say the delay is not necessarily the biggest problem. I think the biggest problem is overall the fact that they can just put whatever stock at whatever price they want. So NVIDIA, if there was selling in it, they could just not print that in the lit market and you just see the price go up. And we know that to be true based on AMC and GME, who are both seeing 80% to sometimes 90% of the trades happening during the day just going straight to dark pools and not hitting the tape. Yeah, I can, M-Dog. Let me look at that real quick. Oh, baby. Okay, daily. Turned up. Positive territory. This is the swing trade, all right? This is the swing trade. Look at this. This is what we're going to teach you how to do over and over again. But you see this bar here, that's kind of an entry because, hey, curling up, positive territory, and then we get above the center line for the RSI a little later on. But you do see the higher low printing here, getting you closer to going positive, and boom, a big move came. So very, very good look here. Let's look at it. This is probably a weekly pullback too. So that weekly turns up, you could see even more positivity. But as of right now, the entry, see, this would be chasing. This would be chasing, okay? So what are you looking for in order to actually get into this move? You're looking for at least a 30-minute pullback. You gotta at least see a 30-minute pullback, okay? Because look at this 30-minute. Now that thing can just keep going. Don't think it can't. But to be a good trader, to really be a good trader, it's important to be patient, because if you keep chasing ones like these, one of them is going to seriously, seriously hurt you. So what you're looking for is maybe just sideways price action. Get that MACD to turn down. Look where the RSI is. There's no more room. It can remain overbought for some time. You have daily momentum with you, but for a trader, me, I would like to see that curl down just a little bit. Give me some more room. Curl down just a little bit. Give me some more room. Reconnect with these moving averages coming up. Get down towards them, and then curl up in positive territory. And I know, okay, there's more positivity in the stock. Does that make sense, M-Dog? I hope that made sense. Yeah, okay, good. M-Dog's saying it. But that was the swing trade. That's a swing trade signal, and so that's what we're going to put out there very soon. I got to really get to work on that. Now, someone did ask about volatility. What do I think about volatility? It was scaling up this whole time, and then boom, major drop off with the data, but it is still at elevated levels. We are not back down towards 1212. So what does that tell me about a 2-hour chart? Well, this still hasn't curled over yet. So don't think it's all rainbow and sunshine just yet. The daily side is still turned up and trying to go positive. So that is a big freaking deal. If that starts to get above the 200, you have all these divergences down here, and the main signal, obviously, it's going to take more time to play out, but the weekly scale is what you're paying attention to. And this just tells you, look how close it is to crossing. Look how close it is to positive territory. It tells you that if volatility ramps up, maybe we see that cross, see another move like that to get a retest of that area, and then we just see volatility come back. But technically, this signal right here, if that just goes positive right away, we could see volatility right now. I'm just being very honest. Now it looks like we need that 2-hour pullback to a 2-hour pop, and then what happens? Anything can break at any time with with everything that is going on right now. Anything could break at any time. And I love that I'm freezing and I have a huge pimple on my forehead, and I'm sorry. I was hoping and thinking the same. Okay, M-Dog, awesome. NASDAQ is crashing. Let's go pull over to the Qs real quick. Go down into the shorter time frames. Remember, the 30-minute divergence is what we were pointing out yesterday, and this is why we were saying there could be some kind of top in the market. Now, this is overall, I believe, to be some kind of pullback, but you saw the volatility. It can get uglier. And so, you know, if you're not watching the nightly YouTube videos, I would highly encourage you to watch it to get my overall opinion while we kind of try to break this down with an unbiased take towards momentum. Really trying to get mostly just tell you like, hey, this is a reversal signal, but you have to see if it's going to rotate back up, because that means positive territory, you're still good. So we're trying to be like that, but Qs really suffering here. So what's happening at the same time as the Qs really suffering? We're seeing some things start to pop up on the other side of things. So we'll pay attention. As of right now, NVIDIA 3% down now. So NVIDIA saying, hey, I'm going to get that 2-hour pullback. It really looks like it with that. Oh my God, that you guys, that's really fucking bad. You guys, that's really freaking bad. Palantir probably going down here. You have a 2-hour divergence now. You have 2-hour divergence. Palantir probably going down here. Just gonna say that. That's what what's this telling me. Now, I'm not saying crash. I'm saying it says 2-hour pullback is the most likely scenario for Palantir right now. But it's gone up for a long time. You just want to see if that stuff's curling up. NVIDIA, Tesla still positive. Apple really going down here. 2-hour. Uh-oh. This is breaking the dam a little bit, guys. Aren't you glad? I'm so glad I put out that YouTube video last night. I knew that this stuff looked really funky this time around. But the good part about this is, you know, we just pay attention to times where these signals are popping up. It doesn't mean we're overly bearish or anything like that. We're just saying we're paying attention to the times where these signals pop up. And now we're seeing those signals play out. Google, one thing about Google I wanted to see, its weekly expected move is not the lowest. Okay, 186 area. Okay, that makes more sense. GME is still looking if this daily is going to turn up, man. That daily turns up, it might be go time. Did Bitcoin drop off too? Damn, Bitcoin's going to ruin that run too. So 2-hour curls down, you're really close to negative. So looks like that touch of that zone might actually happen. Is that is that slowing? So now you want to pay attention to if these 30 minutes start to curl back up, because we're seeing some dramatic downside there. I'm in NVIDIA puts. Yeesh, well done. Well, you saw the signal. I mean, it's there. There's a lot of divergence across that RSI, and it looks like that's an area where the 2-hour really needs to pull back to break through to a new high. So 2-hour pullback does look like the most likely thing for a lot of things. Then when the price is low, buy the disbelief. Pretty much, yeah. It's like if the news is talking a bunch of crap on a stock, that's probably a stock you want to pay attention to. With RSI overbought, it means slightly overpriced. It just means that the momentum has gone up and you might start to see that momentum die off. I mean, it doesn't necessarily, I mean, I guess it would mean for that initial move, it means, I don't know if I want to say overpriced, because a lot of the time you would say yes, overpriced. But I would also like to say, like, it is a sign of like, hey, momentum is getting to a level where people are too excited, right? And so that's kind of another way to look at it, as a momentum statement. Let's be cautious. It was a time to be cautious. You had the 30-minute divergences there, man. You had them on AMD as well. What's AMD doing, by the way? AMD only down 1.1%. Palantir, this is why I'm saying it, guys. Palantir, 30-minute. This is why I didn't really even click into it, because I already knew the 30-minute divergence is there. What do I see on the 2-hour? I see a 2-hour divergence at the same time. Now that 2-hour is starting to complete. So the most likely scenario for Palantir is to drop to lower levels or some kind of consolidation. But we've gone up for a long time. That pullback can be steep, and then you just want to see if that thing's able to curl back up, positive territory. You're still very positive here. I'm not negative really on Palantir at all. I'm just saying, hey, this is a signal for a pullback. You have a 30-minute divergence, you have a 2-hour divergence at the same time. So the only thing you have to pay attention to is if this actually does curl up, you want to see how dramatic this is, see if it's a higher or a lower high. Just because 2-hour divergences sometimes rotate down the dailies. And so you might be going through soon a daily pullback into maybe even earnings. So you actually do have signals here that do say, hey, a daily pullback is plausible, it's possible, it's probable. But because the 2-hour is so far away from the center line, you'd say, okay, let me watch that closely, see if that thing's turning back up. Bitcoin really giving it up here. Let's go look at the SPY too. So SPY with the 30-minute divergence, is that completing? Very soon. Q's already completed it. So, all right, we're at that daily expected move. Do you think something crazy happens with the rest of the day, or do you guys think we bounce up? Tell me what you guys think. Do we bounce? And Short Fridays, thank you so much for the $10. Morning and happy trading, everyone. Look at this signal. Man, you love it. You love it. You love it. This is why, see, like, the thing is, I want to be like, oh, my video last night was right. But I also want to be like, we're just paying attention. Like, we had 2 weeks ago where we saw similar signals and those didn't play out, right? but we were aware of it. This is what helps you as a trader, is to be aware of these moments of weakness. Now we're experiencing it, but is this all the pullback we get? That's a daily expected move right there. But thank you so much for the $10. Hopefully that pops up real soon. Oh, wait, this way. Damn it, not yet. It's coming. Great. Oh, it's a great day. Everything's crossing down. I agree, Marina. I bought 54 and 55K, hoping for another upward move for Bitcoin. Wait, what did Marina say? I want Bitcoin for 50,000, 47 for a swing trade. Yeah, I think weirdly enough with Bitcoin, the only thing that's kind of a bummer is, wasn't it curling up? This is also what we want to see. The 4 hour turning down is really what I think we're going to get a 4 hour divergence here. I really do. I think we get a big 4 hour divergence and then we see that thing start to head up. The only bad part is like the daily did curl up for a second. Now it's not. So that means it might need the stronger base. The Russell should be up, by the way. The Russell should be up. The 10-year yield is dropping. So small caps should be doing well, and they are doing well. So that makes total sense. Now volatility is going positive again, guys. Oh, crap. How Google looking on them puts? Well, it was one that did have a solid divergence. This had a solid divergence. You even got an entry on the previous bar, which is great. Like, this is what you're looking for. Now, it's not outside of a weekly expected move. That's my problem with it. So we have to be aware down towards 186, this thing can just turn back up on a 30-minute. We're already down by a daily expected move for the Qs as well. And notice, where do we start to bounce? We're starting to bounce a little bit, right? That was pretty quick. And then we get to that daily expected move and we start to hesitate. Now, this most likely does continue, weirdly enough. Now, what could happen is, what if we just stall out for the rest of the day or something like that? That'd be interesting. Thank you so much, Short Fridays, for the $10. Really appreciate it. Give it up for Short Fridays. Always giving back to the community here, supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, guys. And remember, you can still support the channel just by liking the video. That's all it takes. One little second where you just go, I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I think we bounced by maybe lunch. Yeah, I think so. I think it would be there. But Charles Clark. Thanks, bro. Wait, what did I look at for you, Charles? Sometimes I just read through chat really quick. Yeah, so Google is giving you that. But you want to really see, is this able to turn over the 2 hour? That's pretty dramatic. So I'm guessing it will. There you go. It really, oh yeah, that's what it was. It kind of rejected the next upward move. So very good look here. Now you want to say, hey, if this is going to fully pull back, that would be awesome. See if that's able to carve out at any time, because you're still far away from the center line. So I'm not saying this has to be dead. And Knox keeps going up. Let's take a look at that real quick. And then I'll take a look at Tesla for you, okay? We'll go look at Tesla one more time, because Tesla looks a little bit different. It's starting to fade, though. This one here, 2 hour high or low, very, very good, okay? Right here, this sign right here was, hey, we can test this high. We can go make a new one, and I'm about to go up real high. Okay, so we get to this level. Is the daily turning out? I'm going to guess it is. Yeah, so daily crossed up right at this level. Boom, we see the 2 hour pullback. This is what I'm saying too. This is great. Even this move right here said, hey, the 2 hours cooked. It needs to pull back. So if you miss the initial move, a lot of the time you'll see that 2 hour pullback and then you see the big move. So that's great. You notice it needs to reload just for a second. Boom, head upward. So daily crossing above the 200, getting to that 50, maybe expect another 2 hour pullback soon. Right? Yeah, maybe expect that 2 hour pullback soon. This is where it's like, hey, I don't want to chase. I at least need to see some kind of 30-minute pullback. We're seeing divergence here, so a 2 hour pullback can still come for Knox, but maybe it's something like this. Maybe it's just a consolidative move, and then that crosses up, and now we know this thing's in a bullish trend. So if this thing keeps curling up in positive territory, positivity will be there. We'll teach you guys about that with the swing trading course. Very good entry course. I'm going to make it a very perfect entry course because it's going to be the cheaper course, right? So we're going to make it a very good thing for beginners. And then after that, you can take the next course and really get down with divergences, weekly ranges, and things like that, because you don't necessarily need weekly ranges to swing trade. They're good to have. They're good to know about. But overall, oh, I'm sorry, Alan. I stepped on my dog's ear. That made me feel bad. All right, let's go look at Tesla real quick, but this looks great. I would just say I'm not someone who likes to chase moves. I like to see the move, right? See this cross up and say, that's going positive, boom. Notice when it curls up right by positive, boom, big move. Great stand. Great move, actually. Let's go pop over to Tesla real quick. Remember, this guy here saying, the 2 hour saying it should be pulling back, and it's not. So the momentum is going down while the stock is going up. And you notice we're not able to confirm that upside. So until we confirm that upside, we can't even say this thing's going to do something even crazier. Right now, it's already done something crazy. And I believe that this 30 minutes is going to go negative. I really do. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to take a trade based on that. It's a very bullish move. So most likely, even if this 2 hour pulls back, you're going to see another bullish move, most likely. Like and subscribe, says Marina. Bounce possible for the Qs. It is possible from this area. So it is possible from this area. You're getting the 2 hour to cross down. So that's all good stuff. The dollar not necessarily scaling up too hard with that big drop. That's interesting. Very interesting. Put call ratio still at 0.76 though. Volatility going negative now. So interesting. You see a pop in volatility, then that goes negative. So watch if this 2 hour crosses over. That means we might be getting a bounce in the market. Dow Jones now giving you 2 hour divergence across the way here. So watch out for the Dow. If that's going to experience weakness, maybe we can see it in the 30 minute right now. We don't. So there is a good shot that this has one more move in it. If that can base out and curl up one more time, it does have a good shot of doing that. It's back within its red channel that I have too. So interesting behavior there. Qs, looks like we're bouncing right where we'd expect, right? This is where you have to pay attention to maybe even a 15 minute, see if that's able to rotate back up, see if you can actually go negative here. Look at that daily expected move. Great stuff. For the swing trade course, what's the next one you were saying you were thinking of? Nice, and try to ask that in a different way, because the swing trading course is what I'm putting together right now. I'm going to make it very cheap, very beginner, very beginner friendly. Now, my course I have out there right now is still beginner friendly. You're going to learn about these things. It's just, I understand that it's a lot. You're taking in MACD, you're taking in RSI, you're taking in moving averages, you're taking in support, you're taking in weekly ranges, you're learning about all those things, you're taking in how to manage your trade. So managing a trade on a swing trade and swing trading itself, you only need to know like 4 things: how to enter MACD, RSI, and how to manage the trade. That's pretty much it. So it's going to be very simple. But it's good to have that clear-cut information, and I want that to be available to everyone. And the reason that I'm kind of hyping it up a little bit is just because so many people in my 6-hour live video, so many people were like, do the swing trading course already, do the swing trading course already. So I'm still going to make it cheap because I just want anyone to be able to learn that stuff, you know? OMG, Becky, G-Wave is moving. Uh-oh. Oh, it's a green wave, all right. All right, so the good part here is you had 2 hour divergence and that thing confirmed. I know it looks wonky as hell, but that thing did confirm right there. And it said right here, hey, I have a chance to bounce because my momentum is dead. Boom, that thing bounces. So technically at 156, it kind of told you, hey, the momentum's dying out. Now you want to see is the daily curling up. The daily has curled up. It wasn't able to curl back down. So it's still a wonky looking stock though. Just to be honest, it's a wonky look, but you do have 2 hour divergence there. So there was a play to be had. AEHR. That was hard. That was really difficult. This one here, you're going to have the 2 hour divergence most likely. Actually, you have daily divergence. You have daily triple divergence. You have one here, one all the way across the way, one over here. So you have a bunch of triple. Actually, you have quadruple. If you look all the way back, look how good that looks. God dang, that looks good. And you're right by the center line on this one. So this one, this bar right here, this big bar said go, go, go. Now you want to look for, could I have gotten into this a little earlier? We're just teaching you how to get into moves like this. This is daily divergence. This says, hey, I have a good likelihood to go positive. I'm very close. And then you want to find entries for that. So did we necessarily have an entry here? You almost did. I bet on the hourly you have a little divergence right here, but it's the rejection for the higher low that then took you into positive. You went positive with these bars right in here. That told you positivity is coming, and boom, positivity came. So very, very good move from G-Wave. Very good move. I just want to show you guys how I think about things. When I see a look like this, I get the higher low. Okay, now I'm seeing, can that go positive? It technically did right on these bars right here. So that is overall what I would call the great entry according to momentum here. And boom, that thing heads to the upside. So very, very good play there. I like it. You always saying they're pulling the rug out. Yeah, they're doing it as of right now. The thing is, I'm just aware of how they do things, right? I'm aware that sometimes they make that initial push down, and if they convince people to buy puts, then you'll see, oh, that thing curls up one more time and screws a lot of people over. As of right now, you're not seeing a bunch of puts come in, but you do have, like, I'm gonna go look at it again. I'll look at Max Payne real quick, because you do have, as of a couple days ago when we were live, we showed you guys how you do have a 3.4% put to call, or not percent, 3.4 put to call ratio, okay, on the SPY for Friday's close. So let's look at tomorrow's close. Now that is down to 2.99. Looks like you got a big wall at 557. Weirdly enough for the SPY. So let's look at the Qs. 2.99 now for the SPY. Originally that was 3.4 a couple of days ago. Let's look at the Qs. The Qs, looking at those, they only have a 1.2, so that's not the biggest put call ratio there for today. But tomorrow you have a 2.13. So a lot of puts in the market for tomorrow. Pay attention to that because there could be one more rigged move left. As of right now, though, the 2 hour saying this is just the beginning. The 2 hour saying this is just the beginning, and this could get a little ugly. So 30-minute, we want to see, actually 15-minute. I want to see if that 15-minute curls up by this daily expected move. That's going to be very important for the Qs. The SPY didn't hit their daily expected move, right? Yeah, they're still up there. So you see how we just have a lot of room here. So we could keep flat, 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 and then by the end of the day, see a pop up. But the most likely scenario from here is we're going to experience a 2 hour pullback. That's the most likely scenario. Even if we see one more rig move up, if that doesn't cross back up and go positive, yeah, it's adding up to, hey, we're going to see some kind of 2 hour pullback. Let me just click through here. AMC and GME both showing some good positivity now. Just seeing if GME can curl up on the daily scale today. AMC, you still got to get above 579. GME, you still got to get above 2668 to really see something unexpected this week. Bank earnings and PBI. What bank earnings are coming out tomorrow? What bank earnings come out tomorrow, Marina? Yeah, cross down on the SPY as well, Mark. And you might see some funkiness in the SPY compared to the Qs because tech stocks are really, remember, tech stocks, when we do the macro videos, I always say, tech stocks look much weaker than the SPY. The SPY has other things in it that can keep it afloat a little bit, but the tech stocks themselves have the worst signals. Like, that's what you would have to say. And yeah, they're Mark, they're gonna rug pull us eventually. I think this will be the initial signs like, hey, it's coming. But I still think you have potential for this thing to curl up one more time, surprise people somehow. Fucking, what's his name? Tom Lee is magically right again, and we go up to, 580 or something for the SPY eventually by the end of the year or something like that. And then right when everyone's hyped on it, we just see this thing done. JP Morgan does. Okay, let's go look at JP Morgan so you guys can see this. JP Morgan, what do we notice here? Well, we rejected the crossing up as of right now. See if that's able to cross up soon because you have beat down a little bit. You've gotten the pullback. Now, what you want to see is most likely from right here, you're going to create a divergence, okay? Now, you do have one for the double top across the way. I'm saying you might just need one in the near price action like right here that caused this drop. I think you might need one again. So we'll see if this is able to break up. But just know this about technical analysis when it comes to earnings. Either way we do it, earnings is a 50-50 flip. Would you guys like to flip the coin today? Should we flip the magical coin? That's right, I still have it. I still have the earnings coin. I keep it on my desk all the time. If I can grab it with my nubby fingers because I bite my nails. But we got the coin. Who wants to flip it for JP Morgan? Because that's pretty much what you're doing when you trade around earnings. It's a 50-50 flip. They could produce great numbers and say, we see a struggle coming down the line. They could produce horrible numbers and say, but things are getting better. And then the stock goes up. So if you guys want to flip the coin for JP Morgan, we can do that. I need at least 3 yeses. I need 3 yeses. Chasing on a, let me do that for you real quick because you seem like you're really paying attention to this one, so I'll go back over to it for you. This would be chasing. Look at the 30-minute. You have divergence here for this area now on the RSI. This would be chasing. What you're looking for here, who is it that's asking about this? Lisa. What you're looking for here is more so this to keep going. It can keep going sideways. That would be great if it keeps going sideways, but you're more so just looking for this MACD to turn down and at least see a 30-minute turn down and then see that thing curl back up like we did right here, like we did over here. You notice right here, we went sideways after a big move. We got overbought. Same thing we're doing right now. Okay, and then we pull down, we cross up, boom, positivity comes as we are in positive territory. So boom, positivity. You're saying, I want to get in, you know, here. And then you see that come down, you get convinced to sell, this thing's going to break down, and then little pop up, oh, it's off to the races again. So that's more so what you're looking for. You're looking for a moment like that again, just to practice good habits. It doesn't mean that this can't keep going up. It's just to practice good habits. Good habits will take you a lot further than chasing. Does that help you out a little bit? And a few people want to see flip it. All right, let's flip this thing. All right, guys, we'll do heads. It's going to be a bullish move. We'll say heads, the stock goes up, and this coin's been right, I think almost 100% now. So heads, JP Morgan ends up after earnings tomorrow. Or when is this, tomorrow? Is this after hours on Friday? Friday morning. Okay, so this coin here will say heads, the price of the stock will go up after releasing earnings, and then tails, it'll say the price of the stock will go down after receiving earnings. Ready? 1, 2. Do I flip it? Yeah. I see a heads, guys. It's a heads. Uh-oh. That's going to really shake things up. That is really going to shake things up. Scott's like, it'll go higher. Well, right now you're in a positive trend. You have a 30-minute that looks like it wants to curl up in positive territory, and you look like you got a good cup and handle going on, actually. So, I mean, unless this bar right here kind of ruined it for you, but overall, this looks like cup and handle. So now we're starting to consolidate, dip down into an area where we do have maybe some buyers lurking, right? We bought from that area and gapped up, so this would make sense. See if that 30-minute can cross up, be a good sign. But remember, technicals go out the window. The only thing you got going for you is the coin, which gives you a 50-50 probability. Hey, it's saying it's going up, so hey, there you go. Stack the silver M7 reminding us, hey, stack those hard assets while you can, because things are really going to shake up. I mean, we're technically killing our dollar right now, so I'd have to agree with you. I think we see things dip down to extremely low levels eventually, and then we see, hey, maybe the dollar starts to suffer. Maybe the dollar has to be getting rid of. We have no idea. Just as a safety perspective, though, weirdly enough, I was thinking about this yesterday. If they being, say, the elite class that is obviously trying to get the poor poorer, trying to get rid of your food, Bill Gates, trying to get rid of your food, trying to get rid of cows, trying to get rid of all these things that you need to survive to then put you in a bad spot, clean energy, which we do not have the infrastructure for. We don't have anything that produces enough clean energy to actually switch everything to clean energy. So when all those things are happening, and now they're saying, okay, we want to have a cashless society. We want to have Bitcoin, cashless society, and don't hold anything else. Okay, there's a problem there. What if the infrastructure shuts down? What if just the internet goes out for a week? What if just like the whole online process goes out for a week? Weirdly enough, cash would still be a good thing to have, like cash on hand, not cash in your bank account. cash on hand would probably still be a good thing to have over having all of it in a bank account at that point. I'm worried about those kinds of things. Oh my God, the coin said JP Morgan goes up, dead. Clean energy is at Area 51, yeah, with that alien technology that the aliens gave us AI. Have you heard that? That is one of the funniest conspiracy theories, though, is like we met aliens and way back then they gave us AI, and they've actually had AI for years and years and years, ever since like 1969. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, hard asset gold is a great investment. If you're just buying it online, though, if online goes away, you're just like, ooh, shit out of luck. So my plan is, if we see a dramatic drop, I'm going to buy a big chunk of Bitcoin, but at the same time, I'm going to buy even more chunks of the hard asset of gold and silver, and hopefully that pays off. DJT looking promising. Let's go look at DJT in a second. Central bank, yeah. Central bank is, and that's the thing. It's like, you don't know who made Bitcoin, and maybe they're just saying, oh, let's make everyone fall in love with Bitcoin so we can make the central bank digital currency. And I think that's great. But they pretty much are turning the dollar into a central bank digital currency, right? They want to go to a cashless society. But the digital currency itself that they're trying to create, I'm glad that I don't think they expected as much fight back against that. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go look at DJT, though, for our boy Short Fridays. Wait, right? Fridays? Wait. Yeah, Fridays. It's plural. What are we noticing here? 30-minute divergence is completing. This is a signal that the 2 hour is about to curl up, guys. So there you go, 2 hours curling up. You actually got a small point of divergence here. So this kind of looks like a point where you might see a good move from DJT over the next couple of days. That's what the 2 hour tells me right here. What's the daily scale looking like? Well, that thing's looking beat up. So if that 2 hour could be pretty strong, right? It got the, overall, you would say it has a higher low right here for the daily scale, so that thing can start to ramp up, take back that 200. That's looking like a swing trade. If you start to close above the 9 and the 200, that's really looking like a potential swing trade. A little bit of a risky one. You're still negative, but that is what you're looking for. Yeah, decentralized. So the reason that I like Bitcoin is because it's decentralized. It's supposed to put the power into the people's hands, and it's technically like not even supposed to be regulated at that point, but they're going to regulate it in some way. They are. They're already charging taxes on everything for Bitcoin. They can track everything you do. Don't think they can't. They can still track everything you do by now. At first, they couldn't. Now they definitely can track what you're doing. So yo, President Biden holds a press conference. I put all of those in my calendar, by the way, because it is some of the best entertainment I've ever had in my entire life. Also, I think that this dippy I put in was like something gross was in it or something. I'm going to take it out. Something gross was in that. That didn't feel right. Yeah, I don't know the most about Bitcoin, but I do understand it's decentralized. That's why that's why I liked it in the beginning at all. That's actually why my argument for Dogecoin was there, because it had faster transaction times. But at the same time, you got to be like, okay, they're gonna figure out how to mess with this, and it's on the internet, which falls under infrastructure dependence, which just means to me, oh, gold is still probably the better option. Wifey did something to your dippy. Yeah, she put like, it's like she put nail polish on it so that it would so that I would stop, you know what I mean? So that I'd like stop doing that. 40,000 calls is that they replaced Biden with Gavin Newsom before Trump picks VP. Well, they've come out multiple times. I don't want to say my theory on what's going to happen. I can't say that theory on the internet because it isn't the nicest sounding theory of what's going to happen with Joe Biden. But what I would say is most likely he does get replaced before the election. In most likely a dramatic way. That's how I will phrase it. In a dramatic way, he will get replaced. If he doesn't get replaced, they are just throwing in the towel, and they are going to maybe mess with Trump as much as possible, try to crash stocks, try to do whatever, try to put him in the most losing situation they can. Maybe they even pump more money into the system before he gets in. Bitcoin appears in documents created like CIA. Like you're like, that's what I'm afraid. That's my biggest fear with Bitcoin, JS. Don't reassure like my biggest fear about Bitcoin. That's facts. Short Fridays. You hit a daily expected move. Crash a Boeing plane. That's my bit. Like JS just like reassuring my biggest fear, which is like, hey, Bitcoin actually, since we don't know exactly who created it, we have a name, right? But we don't know exactly who created it. Could have just been created by governments, and like that scares the shit out of me. What's GME looking like? Let's pop over to these guys real quick. What are we noticing here? Well, the daily scale for AMC is still turned up, still positive. Great sign there. Is the 30-minute crossing back up? Ooh, it's about to. Good timing. Good timing. Who brought that up? I'm going to say thank you. Life with Cohen's, thank you so much for bringing this up, because this is when we need to pay attention. Notice what happens when we go positive. And I said this a couple days ago. If we can get up to this area and consolidate in front of it in some way, that would be a great sign, because you're compiling up, you're gaining liquidity, and curls up, positive territory. Look at this, curled up. What happened next? Positive move. Curl up, positive move. If that takes you above 579, you're expecting either a fight or a squeeze. I'm going to be genuine about that. This is the unexpected area going into a Friday. On a Friday, you can land outside of that. If you make that move, big move on a Friday, well, then that thing has to be hammered down in order to come down. So really paying attention to this, because that little curl up can mean a lot here, guys. GME, same thing. Little curl up here. We're doing what we're talking about, right? We're curling up. We're kind of coiling up right in front of that 2668. So you start to break through that, something big can happen. Can I imagine a government with Kamala Harris as president? I can imagine the most confusing nothing speeches ever. What the best person who they phrased it the best way, Kamala Harris. Like if you want to talk like Kamala Harris, you go, tomorrow is tomorrow, but today is today, and tomorrow it will be today, tomorrow. If tomorrow is therefore going to be here, then tomorrow is then going to be today at that time. What the fuck did I just say? Like, you know what I mean? That would be a Kamala Harris presidency. That would be a Kamala Harris presidency. Plug is still going. Ooh, plug. 30-minute right here, 269 up to 289, pretty good. You're looking for that to swing down again, but this might be daily momentum might just take over. At any time, daily momentum can just take over here. You have divergence, you're above the center line on the RSI. This can just keep going. I don't like to chase. I would have liked to be in the move initially for the divergence right there, 262. Now you're up at 288. So $3 looking kind of likely here. We'll see if there's some kind of pullback on at least a 30-minute scale, but you are not seeming to want to pull back right now. You would have a flat divergence there as well. We'll look into that a little bit, but Kamala Harris equals word salad. Don't diss salad like that, okay? Don't be dissing salad. I love myself a Caesar salad, so don't be dissing salad like that, Ted. Did I miss the Bitcoin dip? When should I jump in? I don't think you fully missed it. I think that overall, the 4-hour crossing over is what I'm looking at right now, because that looks slightly probable in the daily scale. If it turns up to, like, technically, if this daily turns up today, you have not missed the move by any means. You have not missed the move by any means. Now, you need that to close above the 200. I'm saying, since that's kind of not wanting to cross right now, see if it does by the end of the day, you're not by any means out of the move. Like, if you're like, a lot of people need to hear like, hey, stop trying to catch the exact bottom. More so, think of momentum on whatever time frame you're looking at. Look at the momentum on a daily time frame. If that crosses up, I'm negative territory, so I'm being a contrarian bull. So I have to be aware if that gets up towards that center line, if I see some reversal signals in a move here, then I need to be a little cautious, right? Because I could go make a divergence. But as of right now, as that hasn't crossed up, you want to be aware of this 4-hour crossing down, because the 4-hour crossing down takes you into our little buy zone. What if that happens and boom, we see a divergence there? That's more what I'd be paying attention to. That's what I would post to Patreon. Is her last name really worthless? Just stop. Okay. All right. Exxon. Let's go look at this guy too. That's a great higher low for a 4-hour. That's curling up a 2-hour. There you go. 2-hour higher low here for Exxon. This is a good look. It is a pretty good look. I'm just being genuine here. It's a pretty damn good look. You're getting the closer move to the center line. So now you have that ability to go positive. You're getting the 4-hour that looks like it could cross up. That 4-hour crosses up. You pretty much know. 2-hour crosses up, you have potential to test the high, go make a new one. 4-hour crosses up, you test the high, you go make a new one, right? You do one of those two things if that 4-hour can cross up. This is a swing trade. See if it gets above the 200, right? If that gets above the 200, good move there. And then you just got to see, is the daily able to turn up there? What are you noticing here? Well, rejection as of right now, heading to the upside. So see if that's able to take back the moving averages. Chewy, let's go look at Chewy, by the way. We haven't looked at that this morning, right? Ooh, that's a swing trade. That's a swing trade. That's a swing trade. And you're above all the moving averages. That is a swing trader's dream 4-hour. Look at this. You can use the 4-hour. That thing went up. Awesome. You're waiting for the last tick. But if you like, technically with swing trading, since you manage it very closely, swing trading a lot of the time doesn't involve, at least the style I do, doesn't necessarily involve the most option strategies. If you're doing the shorter time frames, you can, but for the most part, you want to be, hey, 4-hour, it has the potential to close above the moving averages. That still needs to close 2.5 hours for that, but curling up above the center line for the RSI, you're just waiting for that MACD to cross up, and this bar right here convinces you like, hey, that is probable at this point. Yeah, William, if you vet some for me, I'm down. I'm down to go look at some of those videos. I'd love to be, you know me, I'm a nerd. I like to be informed. So I'm always researching all the time. Bought a new psychology book. I'm very pumped about it. What's this? What's this? Intercrude? Ooh. Ooh, 2-hour divergence down here? Ah, yeah, right there. Okay, right there. You see that right there? Boom. 210, 247. That's the entry. You see the divergences. You see the tapering. Awesome. Notice we were coming down. We taper. We taper. We see another drop down, but we taper right away with that. Even across a little bit. You get a triple divergence here for the 2-hour. You see that on the RSI. Look how significant that is on the RSI. That is a great look. Just up and up and up. Awesome. Curls up. Positive territory right above you. Yeah, some wonkiness. You kind of got ripped around for a second, but this right here told you, hey, there's a potential for a good bounce. Boom, bounce to the upside. So very, very good trade there. Now you want to see, did that curl up the daily? It has. The daily curled up on pretty much the same bar. So daily swing trade saying, hell yeah. That's your daily swing trade signal for this one. Not the like absolute strongest one. The strongest ones are going to be when those moving averages are all compiled up, right? They're all right next to each other, and then you see it crosses above all of them. That is a great look. But this is a good look right now, and you could see that reaction up to the 50 at this point. Now, do I want to chase from this area, the 30-minute? Hey, it's curling up, going positive. The only problem here is you're pretty overbought already. Now, that can continue on the 30-minute. That's very important to understand. That can just continue. And this is a very choppy look, right? The bars are very choppy, so it's hard to really look into it clearly. But at this point, is that halted? Is this halted? Yeah, we can look at the Qs, but is that thing's halted, I think. Let's have some fun and make some cash. Kick some ass, then mow some grass. Damn it. DJT's popping. Let's look over at the Qs for for Ryan real quick. Let me look at that for you, Ryan. We haven't looked at the Qs for a second. Oh, remember, 2-hour cross down. The most likely scenario is we're going through a 2-hour pullback that can really start to ramp up. Notice this. I want you guys to notice this. I don't know why I'm clapping like a sassy black woman, but I'm down. Okay. This is all breaking down. IWM is seeing the big pop. Makes sense with the yields. But what is really popping here? AMC and GME. AMC and GME. Interesting, right? Interesting how NVIDIA is down 3%, and we have AMC and GME both up about 3%. Interesting. But what would you want to say from the Qs at this point? You just want to be managing the trade. Right now, you're looking at a 2-hour divergence. Okay, so manage the trade on a 30-minute. If you're playing the 30-minute divergence, okay, manage the trade on a 15-minute. We teach you how to do that in the course down in the description. And it happens to still be $100 because your boy wasn't feeling good and he didn't update anything. So if you want to get that course, you're lucky today. It's still $100. The price will go up today after this stream when I start working on the swing trading course. But this is great. You got to manage the trade. If this 15-minute, it's oversold. Okay, so that could see a bounce at any time. But as you get outside of this, we can start to scale up, right? We can really see. Now you're pretty much on the daily scale in a negative gamma environment on the daily scale. So if you're not able to recover soon, like very soon, this can keep escalating. Okay, just pay attention because this can keep escalating. We're seeing volatility still negative as the price is down. So a bounce is still possible. We're seeing the dollar not seeing a dramatic move up as the price of these stocks go down. So just pay attention because we could see some kind of rigged move up, but the 15-minute will cross. It will tell you if that is going to happen. Maybe we even go into a 5-minute, see if we make a 5-minute divergence today, but that is really starting to scale up. I guess for the SPY's not dropping off enough. The SPY dropped off plenty. I don't see why the volatility wouldn't be higher. So fishy move there. And the housing sector actually seeing a solid bounce. Interesting all around. High yield growth seeing a solid bounce. So if we're going to stick with like, hey, we're going to follow smart money around, well, smart money is saying we should be going up here. So there is a potential for a rigged move from the Qs to actually see some kind of bounce by the end of the day. Just be aware of it. It doesn't mean change your strategy, change anything. Just keep it in your mind and be ready to react. Carvana? Are you looking at Carvana? Spine the Qs are down over shorted. Russell is pumping. What will be the cost of the swing trading course? $50. I'm going to make it a good sale. I'm going to make it $50. So normal pricing will be, the value of it is somewhere, I'm going to say around $500 to $1,000. Just because it is a very good thing to know, and if you utilize it correctly, it will be very beneficial, but I'm going to sell it for $50. I told you guys I would. I'm sticking to my word. $50, and pretty much it's just like $50 to learn how to fully entry, learn how to manage the trade. And I'm telling, I used to be a swing trader only, and it is like if you're trying to do the slow way and not do options, swing trading is for you. If you're good, and then the other style is good too in a bear market and things like that. It's good in this overall as far as management of risk, like learning about the weekly ranges. It's great. You don't necessarily need these weekly ranges and all that extra stuff to trade based on swing trading. We're just going to give it to you blunt. I'm going to give it to you blunt and be like, here you go. It's a very, like, swing trading is probably, that's how I started out with technical analysis, was swing trading. Options is the faster way. There is a slow way to do it with options. That's overall what we go over in the course. But as far as it goes, options obviously is faster. If you really think about options, it's 100 times leveraged. Because where you could afford to buy 1 share, you now can maybe buy 100 shares in a contract, but time is against you. So technically you're leveraging yourself like almost 100 times if you do an option with like the same amount of money you were going to invest. You're putting 100 times more risk in your trade. Oh, I saw a Rivian car here in town, and I've seen Rivian cars, but what I saw was dope as fuck. 30-minute here. Even though I do like some of the Rivian cars, I actually really liked Rivian and Lucid, but Lucid's more the luxury vehicle. You have to be aware you got all these wonky divergences here, and most likely this does experience a pullback. You have to be aware that the 2-hour does have divergence across the way, so this is not a good look for Rivian over the next month. Now, if it just keeps breaking through, that's awesome. I'm just saying right now the momentum is not the best look for me to say, like, go into a trade for upside. Is that Carvana, by the way, CRVN? Because a CRVN is not popping up anything for me. I know Carvana was seeing some good, 2-hour divergence here. So if this isn't going to cup and handle and turn back up, you could see this thing start to fall off. Got close at 38. I loved it. Hustler Maniac, I love to hear that you took like profit, even if it's early. Your goal was to make 50. You're like, no, I'm being a diligent. Oh God, I love to hear just people being like, hey, maybe I got a bad feeling. Maybe I saw a signal. Maybe I'm managing my trade, but great stuff there. I made 5.7K in IWM. That's the kind of shit we like to hear around here. You know what I'm saying? Let's go, Claudio. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. Congratulations. I gotta turn on some tunage today. All right, guys, let me take a quick little break. I'm gonna just refresh the coffee, okay? I'm gonna refresh the coffee. I'm gonna leave you guys over on AMC for a second. Let's leave you guys on AMC on a 30-minute. See if that thing's able to curl up for a second. I'm just gonna go get a quick refresh of the coffee. Say hi to the girls for a moment. I will be back in 2 minutes after a 2-minute break. Be right back. Look around for me. Look at some stocks. Smash that like button while I'm gone. Make sure to smash that like button so more people can get in here and learn about technical analysis. Remember, we are for the retail traders. We want you guys to understand how the market is rigged and how to trade in a market, how to really trade in a market. So swing trading course is coming out soon, but right now that course is down in the description. Hit that like button so we can get more people out here and see if AMC can just curl up and cause something crazy to happen. I'll be back in about 2 minutes. We're back with a bagel. Oh, we're back with a bagel. All right. Let's get locked in. Locked in. I know you guys want to see me eat this bagel. Yeah. We go through eggs like crazy in this house. We eat eggs all the damn time. Yeah, I can look at Maxon in a second. Oh! That's the maniac. Thank you so much for the $5 while I was gone. I'm sorry about that, but thank you. Really appreciate it. How do you tag someone? Oh yeah, the @ sign. It's awesome. Thank you, Hustler Maniac, for coming back to the channel, and congratulations on, hey, didn't make it to $50, but hey, it's great to take profit. It's a great habit. Okay, let me check this one out real quick for our boy over here. Still looks like 30-minute cross-up can take you positive. Now it's a little bit choppy. Let's see if the 2 hours got the signal. It just really looks like, to me, this one's going to be tough. Look at that thing just going down and down and down. It's going to be tough to really find the reversal signal here. But you would say if that daily is able to curl up, you got a shot, but you're below that 200. You're way below it at this point. So it's a risky one, is all I can say about this one. It's a risky one. But if you know a lot about the company and you're trying to invest or something like that, you can say, hey, the strategy of buying low, selling high could work out. You just got to be a little bit fearful of this one because this thing is dropping down dramatically really, really fast. If you know about the company, you know how to invest in it, you know about the numbers and they're not going away anytime soon, hey, be confident in it. But you're not necessarily seeing reversal signals like you have in the past. Yeah, that's kind of what I didn't want to say, Imran. It doesn't look like, I can't say something's a trash stock if I don't know enough about it, but based on the technicals, there is nothing really, there's just not much going on for that one. All right, let's go look at this. Let's look at the Qs. They saw the big move down. Now, do they get the rigged 15-minute curl up back into the ranges for the day? Remember, that's as far down as we're supposed to go, and I said you got to curl around pretty quick here. And we're not seeing the dollar scale up dramatically. We're seeing high yield growth, which is technically smart money, go up. So if we're going to follow that, well, then it would say, hey, the Qs might actually bounce from this level. NVDA, we'll see if that's able to curl back up, but the Qs really showing, hey, I might even just bounce from this level. We'll see. But just be aware, you know, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't change your thesis right now. You just want to be managing your risk. Yeah, we can look at gold real quick. Like, will it continue? Your 2 hours telling you that it should continue, but I'm saying the 15-minute could curl up. You could see a lot of the time during this curl down, especially going into a Friday with a lot of options expiring and a lot of puts in the market. Are they going to let this move happen right away, or are they going to go, oh, no, it's going higher. Okay, and then we drop it off after the Friday's done. You know what I mean? Let's go look at gold for a sec. Gold, this was the great signal. Remember, we saw that signal here, and I posted, and I was like, gold really looks good. And then it dropped off, and it dropped back, and it popped back up. So these gaps here kind of messed up the signal, but it ended up good. So that's something to pay attention to. But the daily scale here turned up, and it's been going. The swing trade signal right here at 215. Set upside, and now you're getting that upside. You even got the pullback here for that little pullback. Now you're saying, okay, if I don't want to chase more, well, that's the 2 hour crossing up, but it's overbought already. 30-minute pullback down to this area was the option, but you pulled back again right here before that gap up. So daily scale, daily momentum's taking over for gold. NASDAQ always double tops during major drops. And I'm saying I thought that double top would be a 2 hour pullback now. My overall theory is that the 2-hour pullback is now, and you see how dramatic that 2-hour pullback can be. It can last for a little bit of time here, and then we curl up positive territory, and then we see that start to drop off. Maybe at the end of July, we'll see. And then on the daily scale, if we're going to do this on the daily scale and see a serious, well, actually, you have that divergence right now. If this daily starts to turn over, it's not good. But you're far away from the center line. So you do have the opportunity to come down, go right back up, and then go down again. And then sometime maybe in September, or if this takes a longer amount of time, right? Takes a little bit of time, it could leak up into October or something like that. Did I bring Mayo today for it? Yeah, Mayo's over on the charts, Josh. Ooh, that's a rejection on the daily scale. That is bearish, guys. For the current price action, that's bearish. That tells you oh man. It's not a good look. I still think there's a lot of puts in the market though. I think are they gonna pay out all those puts or do they rig the Friday move? That's kind of what I'm trying to think about. GME looks great if it can cross up on the daily scale. GME looks great if it can, let's get this thing to cross up. Which actually, I think I have it upside down, by the way. I'm pretty sure, I just bought this exact QP Mayo at the Asian market in Art City. And so technically this thing might need to be rotated around because I'm pretty sure the top of it's over here. So we're technically spraying upward and then it lands on GME, but there you go. GME, we gave it some. AMC, do you need some? Here, we'll give you some too. Why don't you take some of that? There you go. All right, cool. We gave it some Mayo. Oh yeah, going cautious. And that's just the signals we were pointing out in the YouTube video last night. This is a signal to be cautious, especially on the daily scale, 2-hour scale. All of the scales on the Qs are telling you, hey, this is a bad area for stuff, right? So it's just another time to pay attention to. We're paying attention over here too. We got a little bit of a breakdown, but we curled back up. So we have to be aware if we curl back up. But right now, this is what you're seeing. You're seeing the signals for a 2-hour pullback, and what you're getting is a 2-hour pullback as of right now. It's great. I gotta go running today now. No way. Plug is not still going, guys. You shut it. It's not. Oh god. No. I'd be aware there is 30-minute divergence here. You could see a 2-hour pullback. But 30-minute pulls back, curls back up, positive territory. Awesome. But this would kind of be a chase. Look at Apple. Ugh. Tesla giving it up. Ugh. Amazon. Ugh. NVIDIA. Ugh. AMD. Not the worst. Meta. Ugh. Microsoft. Ugh. Google. Ew. Brother. Ugh. Brother. Ugh. Netflix. Gross. 2-hour divergence though. It's a good hint. Pretty bad. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave you guys on the Qs for a second while I try to finish up this bagel. Then we gotta go get eggs today, man. I can't live without eggs. Which stock are you thinking about, Tony G? Are you talking about? Because it depends on a few things. Qs? Yeah, the Qs. Technically 30-minute, the entry was here, a little bit higher up. So, I mean, actually, it probably would have been way up here. Once it started to make that dramatic move, you kind of know, hey, downside expected move. As of right now, you'd be chasing just a little bit, but you're not oversold by any means. You're not oversold by any means on the 30-minute, and the 2-hour just crossed over. So depending on your timing, is it, hey, I'm looking for this to happen tomorrow as expiration? not the best look. But if you said, hey, over the next 2 months, we're going to see a pullback of at least 5%, maybe 10%, that would make sense to me. This would tell you, hey, I'm very early into this pullback, right? And this looks like it's adding up to be a little bit more than a pullback at this point. If it lands like this, if it ends the day like this, adding up to be a little bit more. But managing the 30-minute trade right now, if the 15-minute curls up, positivity, which you do have a good opportunity for that as you are a little bit oversold. So popping up, now you can see the structure. Hey, neckline, all right? Neckline, left, head. What if we get right shoulder? You know, Tony, so it just depends on a lot of things. But depending on the time frame, 2 hour, not necessarily chasing. It just says like, hey, I might want to take a longer out expiration. If I'm trying to say, oh, by tomorrow, well, this 15-minute could just rotate up and we could just start to recover from here. So you could see one more rigged move to leave you higher on Friday, and then that curls down at the end of the day and you were just off a little bit. So depending on what you're looking for, but oh, Short Fridays, thanks for the $5. Oh, QS seems to look good, runner up. Okay, QS. Whoa, holy crap. Hey, you know, see this little 30-minute pullback? It means a lot, right? And then you curl up positive territory, great. I would still overall say I'm not going to chase in this area, anything like that. Let's look daily scale though. Yeah. See how the daily's getting overbought? So you could see a reaction to reconnect with some of these moving averages. You see how you're way out of the Bollinger Band? You could see a reaction to reconnect with these moving averages and then see that reaction up. So I'd really be looking at the 30-minute, seeing that thing get close to the center line, curling right back up. Because you'll just look, anytime we've been, let's say, remotely up this high, even over here we were up even higher. So let's look at that. Well, what ended up happening when we were up really high? Well, a lot of the time, what do? We pull back, we see another pop. Awesome, that's your chance for another upward move in positive territory. Didn't fully get there, gave you that higher low, or lower high. And then that fully breaks down, we see divergence, we get the higher low, boom, we head to the upside. You kind of even out here with all this, but overall I would say, hey, if I'm seeing something like this way up here, then I probably shouldn't chase it too much. It can head higher, but look at that, it's way up here as well. So I would say for a good trader, it would more so be, hey, is this 30-minute able to base out and curl back up? Because another big positive move could be coming. But right now it would be a little bit chasing. $5,600? 5,600, I mean, I would say is a solid resistance, but let me see the SPY here. Yeah, so technically your 5,600, actually what was the expected move for this? That'll help a lot. Because sometimes the expected move for SPX is a little bit different. 5635. So 5635 was the number to pay attention to right there. And look where we stopped, pretty much right about at 5635. So technically your resistance point is that 5635 for this week, and you'll get a new one next week. But as of right now, you would say, hey, yeah, 5,600 looks like that was somewhat of the target, and then people get excited, we're breaking above it, and it drops back down. So thank you again there, Short Fridays, for the $5 donation. Really appreciate it. Sorry, I think you mentioned it a couple times. I think I just got a little caught up in the chat. I was moving a little quick there for a sec. I think it's a pretty good resistance, and you're getting the reversal signals that are telling you it's a good resistance at this point. You're getting the 2 hour that hasn't fully rotated over yet. You don't necessarily have divergences here. So it is a good resistance for now. Now you want to see if this 2 hour pullback leads into another push higher. You can go higher than it, maybe hit that 5,700 or something like that. Bear trap? This is the opposite of a bear trap if it's a trap. It's the opposite of a bear trap. Now, this could be a, say, you know, it is a squeeze. You would say this is definitely a squeeze. So if there's a short seller problem here, then this would be the behavior for a trap for them. But would you say this is a bear trap by any means? No, this is more likely a bull trap if there is no short seller problem in Tesla. It was known to have short sellers behind it in the past. So this is more so a bull trap because this is saying, oh, look, the price is going up. You should buy it. But I get what you're saying. Like, if you're saying bear trap in some way, it would more so be like, hey, short seller trap. UVXY is up because the SPY is down and volatility is back up. That is why UVXY is up. Oh God, I love these plays right now. My stuff I bought yesterday is looking pretty damn good. Actually, I need to look at UVXY. Oh God. Oh, it looks so pretty. I love it. Joby. Gosh, gotta love it though. Gotta look. Dude, there's some crazy moves happening in these small caps or whatever. Daily already crossed up for sure. Yeah, that's a wonky look. This one's hard to trade, but right now I'd just be like, hey, if I'm looking at this, I'd be like, okay, if I get a 30-minute pullback, that's some positivity that could be there. They trap bulls with positive CPI. Yeah, but when you actually know how inflation works, inflation coming down, assets get more inflated with higher inflation. So the fact that inflation is coming down means that these companies will not be inflated as heavily, which is kind of funny. But notice the rates come down and the stock market's coming down. So when they cut rates, do you think it'll be a good thing or a bad thing? It's probably a bad thing. But yeah, it's nice, isn't it, Mr. Perfect? It's kind of fun. Took IWM puts against the prior high. And I don't think I have the right weekly ranges for IWM up on this chart. More so look at the daily scale. I'd be a little careful with those puts, just the daily scale here. Yeah, you can see a pullback for sure, but that is a daily bar that just went positive. About to be overbought, so I understand. 30-minute cooked, I get it. Makes sense. SPY about to hit its daily expected move. Man, things are ramping up fast, aren't they? Get some eggs for the familia. Having fun and making money. Awesome, I'm glad you're having fun today, Marina. Have you seen that meme? That meme's funny. Brother, ooh. Thank you so much for the $10, Marina. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Here every single day, Marina. I love seeing you guys here. All you guys. Everyone being here. That's why I try to shout out people at the beginning. See people who are here right away. It's awesome to see. You guys are smashing the like button. It's so cool. Thank you guys so much. A lot of fun today. There you go, Marina, popping up on the screen, brother. Okay, Amazon. This one here. There you go. 30-minute curls over. Boom, negativity comes in. 2 hours. You had the divergence up here at the highs. There's your signal right on this bar actually told you, hey, this thing's going down. And then it just goes, okay, we're going to go sideways. Maybe we pop up, and then it just breaks down. It's getting kind of a distributive move here, piling up in this area, and then liquidity drops. Nothing but down from here. I mean, that's what your 2-hour charts are telling you guys. The SPY, 2 hours, hasn't even crossed yet. The Qs, 2 hours saying we're dropping. Apple, 2 hours saying we're dropping. At least pullback. Tesla says pullback. Amazon, pulling back. NVIDIA, about to say pullback, but we'll see. We'll see by the end of the day. AMD, about to say pullback. We'll see by the end of the day. Meta, pullback. And Microsoft, maybe more than a pullback for Microsoft, guys. You got to be aware of that. Maybe more of than just a 2-hour pullback. Could be a daily pullback. Google could be a daily pullback. Netflix could be a daily pullback. Like, all of these are showing extreme weakness there. Palantir, I think Palantir had the 30-minute signal as well. So you have the 2-hour divergence here. Palantir could say, hey, yeah, there's most likely a 2-hour pullback, but a daily pullback is possible. And you have 30-minute divergence and 2-hour divergence at the same time. So Big weakness there in momentum for Palantir. Some good trade setups though. I already took mine yesterday. I feel so evil. What's that show that has like the evil bunny? The evil bunny. Is it Pets? Life of Pets? I like that bunny. That's who I feel like today with my big ass front teeth. NVIDIA. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Does that look good? I don't think that looks good. Let me do some technical analysis on this real quick. Does that look good? I'm thinking no. Now, NVIDIA might go up. You are very clear. Owen, I like it. I like your point out. It could go up if that 15-minute crosses. Now, as you're breaking down below this previous low, you could get a lower high. So look out for that. You got to look out for that. But as of right now, you would still say, hey, you know, NVIDIA's done crazy shit. So if this 15-minute curls up and goes positive, hey, look over here. Where did we break down significantly in the past? Well, right here we broke down and eventually we went back to positive. So this is looking like a lower high right now in the big grand scheme of things, but we'll see how the 15-minute reacts because right now the dollar is just not booming. But gold is, so I wonder if people are flowing into gold like something bad's happening. All right, let's watch the reaction of the SPY hitting this daily expected move. We might get a lunch bounce. Yeah, sometimes a lot of the time during lunch, you can even just move sideways just to kind of fizzle out on 5 or 15 minutes. See the next drop down, so. Palantir short, Palantir does look like it's gonna head to the downside with that, well, now it's down 4%. The point of this is to catch the move early. That's the move right there. $28, $27.94 was the time that it said like, hey, some weakness could be here. Boom, weakness came right away. So that's a great sign. 2 hour curling down. That means this probably has some more room to the downside. Now you still have to manage your risk. Be aware of any kind of turn up because your timing might just be a little bit off. You might get even a gimme. Sorry, bagel went down the wrong pipe. So if this is going to bounce up, you just don't want to see that 2 hour cross up. But if it's going to bounce up, then this 30 minutes still could. We could see some kind of bounce and then maybe that just goes bloop. Or even a 15-minute, man. I'm in UVXY. Girl, same. Ooh, Rumble? I haven't looked at Rumble like ever, I think. I don't think I've ever looked at Rumble. Do people like Rumble? Like, should I be on Rumble? Like, should I be doing Rumble streams? Like, I don't even know. It's still not the best look for Rumble, but you are compiling up in this area, actually. Let me really look, because maybe a 4 hour pullback looks cleaner. It's just however it looks cleaner. Ooh, 4 hour curls over. That's actually bad. Let's do your buddy. Who mentioned the 3 hour guy? Let's look at a 3 hour here. Okay, that looks even worse. Fuck. 2 hour, if that could curl up and go positive, you've been trying to curl up a bunch, but notice this too about right now. Okay, when you were trying to curl up, you saw these big swings. What's happening? What's happening, guys? What is happening? We're getting tight. Big move could come. So if we see a breakout, we break above these highs, we curl up on this MACD, we can see positivity. But if we see negativity, you got to be careful because that 4 hour curls down, you might make a divergence. Less regulated than YouTube. I just got to look because I would do Rumble. I just don't know if like that's the most beneficial thing. I have to look into it. I don't use Forex, but maybe someone could help you. Oh, I'm not really looking for too much profit. It's just where people are at, but I like YouTube. YouTube's one of my favorite platforms, even though, you know, sometimes you go through censorship issues and all kinds of things like that. I still love YouTube. I can't not admit that, right? I think I have a Rumble account from like a year ago, but I just have never looked at it. I like the simplicity of YouTube. Yo, facts. Facts. That's why I think I actually did a little thing with YouTube where I like gave them feedback. Like they reached out to creators with like over 2,000 subs or something like that and just said like, hey, what would help you guys out, blah, blah, blah. And I more so gave them the vibe of like, you guys need to stop doing things that hurt creators. Like for me, when you guys donate, I really appreciate it. Sometimes I do mention this though. YouTube does take anywhere from 30 to sometimes 45% of the donations that you do give. I love it. If you like it, I like that it pops up. It's a lot of fun, but I don't know why it's different at times, but sometimes they take 30% of the donation. Sometimes they take 45%. So when you do donate $20, a lot of the time I only see like $11.50 or $13. I just want to make you aware of that. And there is a link in the description if you'd like to donate directly to PayPal. Since we just looked at that stock. But things like that I mentioned to them and I go, I don't know why you guys do these things to hurt creators that are bringing attention to your platform and giving you that ad revenue and then you take donations away where that person who's donating most likely feels like, hey, that money is all going to this creator. It's going to help them out. I appreciate their info. I'm like, I just don't see why they would need more at that point. And at least if it's going to be something like 35 to 45% is a lot. So that's all. I gave them a bunch of feedback and just said like, stop hating on your creators for the most part. Like if you, and I talked to them about music as well. I was like, we should be able to play music because if that benefits the viewer and the viewer has more fun watching a video because there is music behind it, whether it's, you know, whoever's you want to say it is, Ludacris or whoever, right? If it's anyone out there, it's like, if that benefits the viewer, that is a good thing for you. That is more people watching your platform. That is more ad money. So you really have to buy from the sellers and sell to the buyers. Tom, my dude, like if you guys understand my option strategy, it's not necessarily being like, oh, how I describe it is like, oh, this is going to be in the money and it's going to go up and up and up and I'm going to hold this forever. No, I just want to sell my option when it looks like someone else wants to buy it. And Tom's putting that together very, very clearly there. And I love it, Tom. Nice job. I think maybe, Steve, with how things are shaping up in the market, things could be bad, but AMC rolling over still negative here. So 30-minute was not able to curl up yet for AMC. GME, same thing, right? It wasn't able to curl up on a 30-minute. So maybe it still pulls back a little bit today, shakes some people out, and we'll see what happens. Last time we got an update of a certain person's portfolio, I believe it was on a Thursday. No tax on tips, huge deal. Huge deal. In my city, they have started to charge the credit card fee to the servers. So like they take it out of their tips now. How psychotic is that? It does. It just keeps melting down. I would really, in moves like this, you have to see confirmations. You have to understand that the trend is changing in front of your very eyes. How do you know the trend is changing in front of your very eyes? The 30 minutes going negative. The 30 minutes going negative. I know it is terrible, Lisa, isn't it? Fucking ridiculous. So the 30 minutes going negative, the trend is changing in front of your very eyes. Now, what do you notice happens a lot of the time? A lot of the time, the first push down is to start that point to create a divergence, right? This push up created that first point, so it's a big, strong move. So we actually could see, even if we're gonna bounce later on with something down here, we could see a dramatic move to get you deep into negative territory, right? We can see this go deep, And then we see some kind of bounce. And then we go a little deeper, and then we see this start to form, right? And we see that good structure. That'd be awesome. Sorry, I'm chewing a lot. Okay. Tom Lee mentioned on an interview that he sees the small mid caps about to surge soon. Do you see the same, or we need the large mega caps to pull back first? Well, kind of what are you seeing in front of your eyes? And more so this. I want you guys to understand, like, Tom Lee is slightly telling you that AMC and GME are going to pop without telling you AMC and GME are going to pop. Because all the stocks that have a short seller problem in them are small cap, mid cap stocks. Like all of them. Right? So he's right. But what will most likely happen is we most likely will see the pullback at the same time as them going up. So what could we say we're seeing now? Well, the Qs are going down and the IWM is going up. That makes sense. It makes sense, right? But it's like, if the short seller problem starts to happen, the small caps that don't have, like, you might have zombie companies or whatever. So zombie companies might go away, but if there's a short seller problem in any stock, it might rip to the upside. So weirdly enough, but by Tom Lee stating that, he's kind of telling you something there. Yeah, AMC at $4.99 every single Friday. Do you think South Korea and China doesn't have the short sellers scared? Is that what you're saying? I think they're scared, but they don't necessarily have to do anything right now. Now, you're kind of seeing this in real time, right? You're kind of seeing this in real time of, like, this could be them leaking out, you know, getting rid of their assets. Now, the question here is this a moment where they're going to pay for the problem and AMC and GME start to rip? Or is this a moment where they sell a bunch of stocks because they can, and then they use that money to fight AMC and GME even harder? That's kind of what's going on in my head. It's like, if they are selling in some way in the market, if these are going down, and it's not because of a margin call or something like that, then you would say they might just be selling things off to gain some cash in order to fight the problem even more. That's something that I would say. Yeah, poor grammar. It's okay, Spicy. I just invested $200 into GME 2 hours ago. Good idea or no? Well, if you want to look at it from a perspective of investing, let's just pull up a random stock and see if this guy's good to invest in. This here is Meta. Ooh, you know, the main strategy with investing is buy low, sell high, and you can use the MACD here to do that. And technically the area to buy was somewhere around this price right of about 220. Right, so 220 was the time to buy. This looks like it's pretty cooked and might need to pull back before it's a good investment. But let's just see what GME looks like. I mean, we'll just see if this. Oh, interesting. So GME actually looks like the opposite of all these things that look like they are bad investments for the long term. Interesting. That's all I'll put it for you. This is a bullish contrarian signal. You're pretty close to going positive on the monthly scale. When these things curl up above their 200 and above all the moving averages, good things can happen. So there is a probable move on the monthly scale for GME to move to a higher price from where it is at right now in the next 12 to 24 months. That's the best way to put it for you. I hope that gives you a little bit more confidence in your decision, as you've already made it. Deadpool 3. Oh, dude, I'm trying to go see that Quiet Place movie, right? Quiet Place. Oh yeah, AMC, by the way, same thing. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. NVIDIA to 121 tomorrow. I mean, I don't want to say it's impossible, but as of right now, as you start to get cooked on this 15-minute, you can start to see bounces. So we'll see if we get some kind of bounce. Now, as you keep heading lower, notice we're negative now. So what do I always like to say when something goes negative, very, very down here? Well, now it's going to be harder to go positive. And if you do, all that steam you use up could just give you a higher or a lower high. I always mix that up. So if we do bounce from here, you could get some steam behind it and then just be a liquidity grab and start to head down, because as you get deeper and deeper, it becomes harder and harder to go match the high, go make a new one. You know what I'm saying? But as far as tomorrow, so I'm just saying like this could bounce. As far as tomorrow goes, really just want to pay attention to a weekly expected move, because that is overall the lowest that it's expected to go for the week. And you're looking at 118. So you can see something more dramatic even in tomorrow. Now you have options expiration. You have to keep that in mind. So if you're trying to do some kind of hero play and make a ton of money really quick, that's not really what this channel's about. This channel's more about, trying to teach people how to make money a safe and slower way, at least safer, by being able to manage your risk. I understand most people are trying to do options, so it's immediately not safer. But overall, it's just like, yeah, it can hit there. It can hit 118 tomorrow. But from what we're looking at now, the market doesn't just usually go down like this unless something in the system is completely breaking, if there's some kind of flash crash. But as of right now, you would say pretty cooked to the downside. Most likely we come up now, like soon, and make some kind of lower high. And sometimes a 5-minute will give us this hint, okay? So right now you see how negative the 5-minute is. So see if this thing can bounce up over time and then see if that thing wants to curl back down, then you get that divergence. The reason that I'm just looking at this type of stuff for upside moves, little 15-minute bounces and stuff from these areas, is because we're already outside of the daily, we've reached down to lower levels, and now if we pop up, we could see a lower high. All right, we could do this, end up here by the end of the day, and then on Friday we see that rip down. So we'll pay attention to that. But if this is all some kind of pullback, you just really want to manage your risk. And if that 15-minute curls up, you don't necessarily want to say like, hey, this has to continue dropping, right? So you just got to be risk averse. It's telling you this. If you were short on the Qs this morning, this is a very unexpected move. And this would be like, if you have a day trade, you're outside of an expected move, you have a 68% chance to bounce by the end of the day. It's very early on in the morning. So I can't tell you what to do. Like, I want to tell you what to do, but I can't tell you what to do. I'm just saying this is unexpected, and you can see a 68% chance for a bounce. And that might just mean, hey, we get a bounce to go grab liquidity, and then it's the moment again. I'm just trying to keep you aware of things, I guess. Yeah, dead cat. That's the best way to put it, Steve King. Actually, you got it better than I did. Lift. Ooh, that looked nice. See, this is a 2-hour divergence. It just looked a little wonky. I bet it's pretty clean on the 4. Ooh, nice. Okay, little point of divergence, good curl up there. 2-hour probably got you the entry right now as well. So you got to see if that daily's turning up. Daily already turned up. So yeah, it looks like this could see some kind of bounce. We'll see what happens going forward, but you're still below the 200. So just a little bit cautious with it. But overall, you're in a point where that could be some grab of liquidity in here. We could see a bounce from this level. You're still negative on the daily, though. Just keep that in mind. Someone said Uber as well. Uber was a good trade setup. Dude, our Uber trade setup, that thing actually did rocket, didn't it? Like right in here. Didn't that actually do well? Look at that. This was the trade setup on Uber we were talking about. Boom, little curl up on this bar, said, hey, I got divergence and my momentum's dying, and rip, goes sideways. Great look. This is going to be 4-hour pullback most likely. There it is. 4-hour pops up, cross above, close above these highs. 4-hour crosses up. More positivity could be there for Uber, guys. More positivity. Even if that 2-hour curls up, I'd pay attention to that too. AMD is starting to cross over now, so goodbye. Where will the SPY go? Well, now it's at the point where it's supposed to bounce. So right now, that's exactly where it was supposed to go for the entire day. So this is where you could see some kind of bounce. Now you may want to look for maybe like a 5-minute divergence or something like that. You don't have it. So what you want to look for is any kind of reversal signal. Right now, the dollar has not screamed higher, really. So I think that's very interesting. I'm wondering if there will be another rigged move. And as of right now, you have a 15-minute divergence on volatility. So if that starts to turn down, be a little bit cautious, right? Be just a little bit cautious with it. But the 30-minute just crossed up, so it could just keep going. It's kind of like you're seeing a top. Let's look at a bigger time frame. Let's look at a 2-hour. Has that crossed? It just crossed. We can see one more rigged move up and then see if that thing burns back down. But SPY not looking nearly as weak as the Qs. The Qs are looking much weaker. Now, also, by the way, you're outside of the daily. You could get a reaction up to that and just reject off of it. You can use them as resistance when you break through them. Very important note to understand. And you do have a 2-hour that just crossed over. So yeah, it's not looking pretty for the Qs. They're actually going down towards its annual expected move upside. Aaron Trejo, thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. So the SPY's already pretty much at where it was supposed to go for now, and now you have to see if it's going to see some kind of bounce. And I think you do still have the opportunity to see some kind of little bounce here. I just really want to pay attention. But just a note, the 2-hour momentum can just take over and you can just drop. But a lot of the time, especially like with retail hour, if people benefited from that, they're going to do something like this to convince retail to buy calls. It's still more so leaning towards the call side here, by the way, on the put call ratios for today. Tesla going down. Remember, this still looks like 2-hour pullback for Tesla, honestly. It does. Palantir, oof. Those signals are proven. And Palantir had the major weakness signals, 2-hour divergence, 30-minute divergence, all at the same time. It's not a pretty look. It means you can get a daily pullback, and oof, look out. That is a rough one. Still need a couple more days of selling to see that daily pullback. You do have daily divergence here as well. Oof. Yikes, dude. What a day. What a day. Just make sure you're watching out, because the real sell-off's going to come once this weekly goes positive. The real big sell-off, like probably no rigged move, probably actual top in the market, is when that volatility scales up on the weekly. See, look at the dollar. I'm just not seeing, like, this should be dramatically going up, unless it's just flight to gold, flight to small caps, flight to all these other things. It would make sense, actually. Interesting. All right, I want to see if this SPY is going to bounce off this level. Hey, Michaela, thank you so much for joining us today. You need Tesla back up? Well, Tesla was giving us some bad momentum signals. So you're pretty much like praying for Tesla to curl up on a 15-minute MACD. I'm sorry you're caught up in that, but we just look at a 2-hour and we say, you know, this is the not right time to be long, especially when the momentum is going down while the price of the stock's going up. That is a sign of a short squeeze. But eventually it will pull back, and you see that pullback's dramatic. I think we're going to head down towards that 230 level, and then we might see something there. How to read into it, the PCC, more so is like, you know, where is the sentiment, at least taking it day by day or moment by moment. Right now, the sentiment was down here a lot of the time. So that means calls, maybe for day traders or something, but calls. So even though you have that put call ratio, you have a lot of calls coming in during the week here. And so what that's telling me is, once that thing goes down and then crosses back through, usually you can see some negativity, and then you're going to keep seeing negativity until you see this get up towards this level. And then once it gets towards this level, you start to probably see things base out. So the fact that there's still a lower reading here means to me that we could probably keep dropping. The only thing I'm keeping in the back of my mind is I just looked at Max Payne, and there's apparently almost a 3 to 1 put to call ratio for the SPY for tomorrow's expiration. So I'm keeping that in mind. But as of right now, a lot of calls still coming into the market. I don't know if people are thinking like, oh, this drop, it's a buy the dip because inflation went down. I don't know if they're just doing that, but all the momentum is saying it's about to shift down. So that's more so how you read into it. A lot of the time it goes down like this, and when it crosses up, we start to see that big downward move. Crosses down like this, okay, we're seeing the calls get in there, and then we start to see that downward move when this thing curls up, and then we see the put call ratio get up here, and that's where you can start to bounce. It's literally the exact opposite of what the chart's telling you happening at all times is how you read put call ratio. They could, man. You're getting signals that you could see a rug pull as close as tomorrow, especially if we don't even see a bounce today. You're really seeing those signals, but you'd probably want to see AMC and GME turning up. That's why I'm kind of like, are they just using it to fight the problem, or are they going to pay for the problem? Because they could get margin called at these levels, so maybe they needed to take some profit, dedicate that to fighting the stocks into tomorrow. That way it doesn't close above $5, it doesn't close above $26, and then they're able to continue fighting the stock. We'll see. They're manipulating the yen. I think they're pissed off at Japan. Japan's just gonna like dump all their treasuries. Just got NVIDIA calls. Well, let's see how that's playing out for real quick here. Let's see what NVIDIA's doing, if it's going to see some kind of bounce. Right now you don't necessarily have any reversal signals, and you have a 5-minute that's really deep. So that's a ballsy move. Very ballsy. You have divergence on the RSI, but you see the tapering is pretty weak there. So you just really want to watch this 5-minute then. If you're really doing that, I would see if that goes like this and curls down, I'd be very worried about continuing to hold a call if it were me. It's just the momentum telling you that even the 5 minutes shifting down. Well, if you want to say, do they dip before a squeeze, you can kind of be like, okay, when did GME pop off? And I think I've looked at this before, but oop, I just drew a bunch over here. My bad. Can I click on it? Oh, QP Mayo. So you'd say like, okay, where'd that problem last happen? All right, here is the big run. Now before that run, say like these few days leading up to it, that was January 12th. And then the big, the pop that started it was say, what is the date there? January 22nd. So the 12th to the 22nd, that started to go. So if you wanted to say, do they sell off before, you'd go back over to say the Qs, and you would look at the 12th to the 22nd of what was that, 2022? No, that was 2021, right? So you'd look at January 12th right here to the 22nd, right? And what do you notice? January 12th, that's 2022 though. Didn't I just look at 2021? All right, here you go. So you'd want to see, okay, is it going to actually sell off? Well, January 12th to January 22nd, not really. But according to the problem, they never actually sold the positions. So that would mean you don't see a sell-off because they never sold the position, if I'm correct. Right? It just means they moved the position. It's totally different. Damn, this could get ugly, but I highly assume we see a rigged move tomorrow, and then maybe on Monday shit starts to blow off. Like just pop off. Like pop down is what I'm saying. Like we start to see some bad shit. Let me go look at my options, see how things are looking, see if I need to sell anything. Volatility still looking good. SPY, are you still dropping? Okay, so for now we're okay. Just want to see if my volatility play from yesterday really is something I need to get rid of. Tesla's down 8% now? There you go. I'd look out for 230. Let me double check for you guys. Yeah, 230. Right at the gap fill is where I'm looking. Dude, it can get ugly for Tesla. I'm scared of that thing now. Look at that daily move. That is just awful. Oof. Guys, that's not pretty. L. Did anyone play video games for National Video Game Day? Also, just to note, it is reconnecting with the moving average. So we did get kind of up out of the Bollinger Band for a while. We're reconnecting with a moving average. So just beware here that the 2-hour has already pulled back a little bit. And so if, 15 minutes start to curl up and stuff, you're still within range. It's not as deep as, say, the Qs. So watch if it gets some kind of bounce, but that's looking like a reversal in trend, right? So I'm just saying be aware of it. It doesn't mean change your thesis, okay? It just means be aware of it, because if that does happen, you want to manage risk. But right now, you're sitting pretty, right? We probably have a 4-hour crossing over now. Look at that, 4-hour about to cross. So this can get much uglier from 230. I am expecting some kind of bounce at 230. I think 230, we get some kind of bounce, and that's where we'll see, does that just dead cat and keep going, or is that curling up going positive and going to see another big move? We'll find out. Okay, well, my computer just shut down over here, so I got to fix this for a second, guys. My computer with all of my trades on it is not wanting to function. Why? That's so random. That is not the timing I need to have on that. VVIX has a huge pop, so oh, you guys, oh shit. Are we in a crash right now? Like, genuinely? Because what are we seeing? We're seeing flight to gold. Bitcoin's still dropping. Home builders going up though. HGX going up. We follow home builders a lot, guys. Now we might need to catch up to home builders and then catch up to it in the future, but great swing trade for this HGX here, the housing sector, not necessarily home builders, but the housing sector. Okay, let me see. Okay, finally. This thing shut down for a second. I'll let that boot up still. But see, the dollar not giving me the most worrisome signals here, just going down into the zone. Maybe that starts to scale up, guys. This is not a good look. Let's see if anything's curling down on daily scales. No. 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 That one looks like it might. NVIDIA just rejected. That's like just as bad. That's really saying like lower high. No. Dude, Meta, you're about to. Microsoft did. So Microsoft was one that I was like, ooh, that thing screamed higher. That's not looking good. Did Google? Google, if it does, that's going to be a big move. So you're actually running, oh my God, you're actually running into a time where we could see a crash. Holy fuck. Or some kind of bigger daily pullback, but you got to always keep crash on the table with what's going on. So like just looking across at those dailies, I'm like, shit, Google is telling you something awful could be happening. Netflix is telling you something awful could be happening. I mean, look at that thing. So maybe I just keep my volatility play. I might like sell some just to make like some money back. I gotta relog in. I hope the value is still the same. Give me 2 seconds here, guys, just to fix some shit. Thank you guys so much for being here today, and thank you so much for the donations out there. I really do appreciate it. And subscribing. Who subscribed? UFO Video News, thank you for subscribing. Oh, and thank you for subscribing. Sorry if I missed your subscriptions. I really appreciate it. Sorry, my computer kind of shut down, so I'm trying to fix some things real quick, but that looks ugly to me. And we do have the weekly volatility signal, so if we see maybe one rig move tomorrow for the Friday close, and then we'll see. But that is, whew, you're taking back the 50 now. Like, you're about to go positive. Oh, home builders, DHI, yeah, okay, DHI. But I'm just saying, like, if you wanted the beginning recipe of something bad, that is the moment. Wow, and surprising, though, to see some of these things going up like this one. It's kind of surprising, but... I mean, that's a swing trade, though. So if you want to know, that's a swing trade signal right here. Because you see how you're about to curl up, you're above the 200, you're above the 9. That's a fantastic look right there. I think I'm still saying pullback. I'm just saying, like, this is the beginning recipe of something awful, but I still believe the market is rigged, and this is all kind of a pre-plan in some way. Because it's the timing of it just doesn't make sense, unless it's because of the AMC GME thing, but we're not necessarily seeing those rip, right? So yeah, I think overall I'm still on the pullback thesis. I haven't changed. I'm just saying, like, if you were looking for the recipe, Google is something that's really telling you, like, hey, that is bad. Like, it really is. Like, it is saying, hey, that's not a good look. NVIDIA, that's saying that is bad, because that is saying lower high. Now, that could just be an ABC pattern, right? We could just be getting an ABC move, you know, something like this. All right, we kind of go up to this level. Now we pull back a little bit further into the 50, and then we see that bounce over time. I think that's more likely to happen. We start to drop this week, we get new ranges, we hit the bottom side range, and then we bounce next week. That looks kind of like something like that could happen. But we just got to pay attention to these 15. I mean, look at NVIDIA too. I mean, it's starting to curl up. We'll see what happens here. Volatility play looks good. NVIDIA's about to bounce. I might take some profit on this bad boy, even though volatility is scaling up. I still think it's a good opportunity to take some profit with that daily expected move. So I think I'll do so. I'll take a little bit of profit. I'm up 130%. So yeah, I'm going to take some profit for a second. Awesome. All right. Now we're pretty much playing with house money. I think Paramount has to. I think Paramount for sure has to. I wonder if we can look at this, but I think Paramount kind of has to see some kind of good things, like do some kind of merger, and I think that's a good plan, because all these streaming platforms suck. Like, they do not make money off of these. But for movie releases and stuff, I think the big thing to deal with is that strike, the actors strike, and I think even writers strike going on, and the narrative of people might get replaced with AI. They're starting to look at AI to replace almost every single bit of the acting portion of even the writing of scripts and things like that. So that's where I always say, like, AI is good for business, terrible for humanity. But at this point, you see divergence down here at the lows. Paramount sees that bounce. That's all we can really say on this channel, because we're talking about momentum all the time. So do I think it's a good move? I'd say yeah. Thank you so much, Lizard. I appreciate it. Not really taking too much like profit, just making sure, like, hey, if I have an opportunity to just play with house money and we see some kind of big drop, hey, now I have almost no risk in my trade. It's awesome. No way. 318,000 calls for July 19th. Bear trap, I think you have a likelihood for that just because the dollar is not really like scaling up dramatically here. If this was really a big sell-off, maybe that sell-off continues and this thing starts to pop, but you'd expect the dollar to see some big bounce. I'm not seeing a huge bounce from the dollar. The dollar is negative while the SPY is negative, guys. The dollar is negative while the Qs are negative. That is usually a sign that there was some insider buying going on after they got that little bit of data. Now, that data didn't even come out at 6 a.m., did it? Did you guys see my ARI background? That's my main. Just saying. And Ari is the name of my child, so it's fun. Let me see. When did that data come out this morning? 7:30, and we're on a 2-hour chart. Yeah, so in between there is just with that data, you saw a big increase there, or decrease in the dollar, which means some people might have bought stuff. Are they unloading that right now? Was that retail? Was that, you know, that's a question for another time, but you're not seeing the dollar scale up. You're seeing the dollar negative while the SPY is negative, and you're seeing things like XLU bounce. You're seeing HYG bounce. So it would tell me that smart money is actually buying. And we actually could see all of this as a fake out, head higher, and then maybe we actually see this create some kind of double top, where the Qs create some kind of lower high while the SPY actually creates that double top. So that's what I'd be paying attention to right now. But I think the prolonged pullback is already coming right now. I think it just maybe leaks into next week more so than right now from this exact point. We're using that annual expected move for some kind of base. Yeah, SPY looks like it's gonna start to bounce. So volatility, I might take that all off the table because of the 15-minute divergence. All right. Cool. All right, so a little bit less, about a 95% gain there on that trade. So that's pretty good there. We will take it. So do you guys see why I'm doing that? Do you guys understand why I'm doing that? It's just because what am I seeing here? Divergence here. While the dollar is lower, while the stock market is actually lower, while we're seeing smart money buy up, while we're seeing XLU bounce. So at this point, I would pay attention to this divergence here, see if that's able to cross. Now, that's just me getting out of the move early because I want to manage my risk very tightly. If that thing were to just not curl down at any time and I start to see like it closing on the daily above that area, I'm probably going out for a longer term volatility play. But as of right now, this leads me to believe there's going to be some kind of rigged move up in some way, and I can reapply the position again later. I can watch this all day now. Yes, early birds. The only problem is if you're looking into, say, the problems that are going on now, you're actually seeing problems that are very relative towards, say, 2000 or something like that, something like a Cisco situation where it does take something like 10 years to fully come back, right? So you're looking at a situation where, let's just go over to, say, a monthly scale real quick, and you're looking at a situation where you're seeing big signals like this that are very bad. And if you just look back in the past, you'll just see 2000 to 2000 or to 2007. What did we do? Well, we matched the high, but we didn't break back above it. So it took almost what is this, 2000 to right at this level. So 13 years. It took 13 years to really gain above that area, and I think that's something that could go on right now. So I'm saying we could maybe not even reach these levels for like 50 years, honestly. But 10 years looks like a good thing, 10 to 20 years. So you're in a point where that can happen, where a bear market like this can happen, but that would just say, hey, we're going to extend the problem later on. I think you're going to see more so something like weeks and weeks or months and months of pain because of how the volatility looks, because of how the SPY looks with this setup. But we're doing the shorter price action, so right now we got to call it how we see it. The dollar down while the stock market's down. The SPY is down towards a daily expected move, and the Qs did break down further, which the Qs are showing more weakness. So I think one more rigged 15-minute move might be right. But I agree with you, early birds, on your statement. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you in any way. I'm just like, we're talking about two different things that are kind of related. Delays the robo-taxi event until October. Classic Tesla. A lot of wicks here for Tesla, so this might be the area to see some kind of bounce. Qs, are you trying to bounce? Yep. Apple, yep. Tesla. Apple's still in range to go positive, but we'll see what happens with that guy. It's kind of making a new trend, so we'll see if that creates a lower high. AMD, yep. NVDA, yep, that is a bounce, man. So we'll pay attention. AMC starting. Ooh, AMC 15-minute divergence. 15-minute divergence on AMC. Let's look at GME. GME, you don't really have it. You just have more consolidation, but AMC, you have a 15-minute divergence. Look if that confirms. That could be a sign that we're going to start to curl back up on this hourly chart, which is right by the center line. You see the hourly divergences. So that tells you there could be weakness, not really the best divergences, like good one on the MACD, flatness on the RSI, telling you more so a good dramatic pullback. Good dramatic pullback came. Now you're seeing a 15-minute that could form into something. It's forming, though. That's important to understand. It hasn't confirmed. Robo-taxi, stock go up with bad earnings, right? Remember, stock go up with bad earnings because of news. Stock go down because robo-taxi and the cheaper EV is still being pushed off. That's the thing. People get excited. It's like it didn't even happen yet. NVIDIA calls in and out. What a day. Was down 1K, walked away with $200. Way to fight back. Way to fight back. You know what I'm saying? Way to fight back. That's a great sign there. Good job. Just looks like the more prolonged pullback's going to come, but still paying attention to your 15-minute charts, you know, seeing if some kind of bounce can come by the end of the day. And then I just really want to see if this dollar starts to scale up further. This doesn't look like any kind of craziness. If anything, like even the 15-minute isn't even bouncing that high. And I look at 2-hour, 4-hour, and daily for the Dixie here. So not really seeing it. Not seeing that big dramatic move for the dollar. Looks like more of repositioning to gold and small caps than it does look like some kind of full-on crash scenario where everything tanks. They actually, now Tesla actually building the infrastructure moves, like building charge ports and things like that. They were very efficient at it. I have to give them that. Tesla was very efficient at it. So if you don't know, the government tried to make the same facilities that Tesla tried to make when it came to charging, what do you want to say? Like charging stations around the country with I think Tesla used like maybe 10%. I think it was 10 to 20% of what the government used. The government made like 7 across the country and it cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm pretty sure Tesla made like 30 with like $25 million. That's where you just say like everything about what I think, which is free market, where you put the power in the hands of actual business people. They will do things way better. The government is just so inefficient. So that just shows like $200 million to make 7 charge places. And then at the same time, you're like, did they really spend that money to make those places? Or did they just put that money towards something else? Like, I don't know, freaking race classes and gender classes or something for whatever. It's just, all of it's a mess. 15-minute curls up though. Ooh. Baby girl crying a little. We'll stay on for a little bit longer today. Exxon, remember, the 2-hour did just curl up, giving you a higher low. See if that thing can go positive. Not wanting to chase a move? Okay, awesome. See if the 30-minute gives you that pullback. I don't know if it will, though. I don't know if it will. That 2-hour just crossed. I know the 30-minute little bit cooked, but really not that much, and it can remain cooked for a little while. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Tesla actually was known to have a short seller problem in the past. I've said it a few times now, but it was known to have it. So, you know, that's why you see, I think, some crazy runs for Tesla every once in a while, yeah. $2 trillion? It costs, it's not, no way it's 2 trillion. It's still heavily shorted? Yeah, then it can continue to squeeze. But you notice bad news, you know, turns into people selling. But my God, there's no way it was 2 trillion or something like that. And I think maybe it was, and Tesla spent like 100 million and made like 30 or 50 or something like that. HPE. Ooh, 2-hour curls down. Still consolidating is what it overall looks like here. 4-hour by the center line, curled up. Ooh, that's such a rough one. Because you're curled up, and it's like, that's great. Awesome. Swing trade. Gonna go up. Crossed up on the MACD. Perfect. Oh no, it's dropping down. So, if 4-hour curls up, you're still in the swing trade. But if that 4-hour, pretty much if this 2-hour crosses down, it's not going to look good for this for now. You want to see if it makes that divergence here, maybe a stronger base is necessary. Even with the tapering, you didn't make a divergence here. So the momentum is still fine, and the momentum can carry you down. You want to see if that momentum is able to die out right here if that curls down. But it could just keep bouncing. Just so you're aware, you're still above all the moving averages. So JP Morgan earnings, our magical coin that tells you how earnings is a 50-50 flip, said that JP Morgan earnings will cause the stock to go up. That's what our magical 50-50 flip coin said. Not what I said. It's just the coin, guys. Just the coin. Because that's what earnings is. Earnings is a 50-50 flip. It's a dip. It looks like some kind of fake out move at this point. Like it does, at least for now. I'm not saying like, I'm saying for now it does look like a 2-hour pullback. Looks like a 2-hour pullback, but I'm not convinced there can't be one more bounce up before that fully rips down. You know what I'm saying? Like one more bounce up to flash us positive, get everyone's hopes up, and then just go tomorrow. I lost a lot of money on my portfolio. I'm sorry about that. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate, but the 30-minute signals for your risk management were here. This bar right here told you, hey, there is no more reason for upside for the SPY. This bar right here told you there is no more reason for upside in the Qs. Apple, this bar right here told you there is no, actually this bar is great. This is a great hint. There is no more reason for upside in Apple. Tesla told you way back here, it said, hey, there's no more reason for upside. Short squeeze happens, rug pull. All right, so that told you in advance. Amazon, really on this bar right here, told you, hey, I could head to lower levels. A little bit late on that bar, but hey, we'll take it. NVIDIA, this one told you on this bar right here, there is no reason for upside anymore. AMD, and I'm just showing you this quickly to show you how you read into this. This bar right here, it said, hey, no more reason for upside. Hey, yeah, we make a little upside move, but does that cross back up? Nope, and it drops back down. So if that curls back up, we can still see positivity. It's still in a positive trend. Meta, this one here said on this bar right here, which was Wednesday at the end of the day, it said no more reason for upside. Microsoft, at today, it actually curled over. So this one a little bit more dramatic to the downside here before it actually gave you that signal, but said no more upside. And hey, we're heading down there as well. Google said no more upside on this little green bar right here. So this morning you had the opportunity to say, hey, time to risk manage, and boom, we head to the downside. Netflix told you no more reason for upside, way up towards 688. No more reason for an upside move as far as Netflix goes. AMC even telling you right here, no more reason for upside right here. So we need this to curl back around. GME telling you a similar thing, saying right here, no more reason for upside. Ooh, we get a blip up, but does it cross? Nope. So we can't confirm that. Still dropping down. SMCI curling over here at a price point of about 911.50. Boom, right there said no more reason for upside. And that's pretty much what you got across the board there. Palantir giving you a huge reversal signal here and confirming that right there. So at the end, or sorry, this morning, boom, right there said, hey, watch out because there could be some downside, and downside came, and a big downward move of 2% came the next 30-minute bar. Tesla, you need this to rotate back up to really be like, hey, I'm going to swing trade this. This is all the moving averages are pointing down. So anytime you pop up, you have more likelihood as you're making a new trend for that to get rejected. So just be cautious with it. But you can see little 15-minute pops. You know, a little 15-minute pop would make sense for pretty much everything. Long term on Tesla, well, it just depends on what happens with the monthly scale, if this monthly can turn up. But as of right now, you're seeing that big wick. What do we keep saying? Well, you're outside the monthly and you were outside the weekly. So now you're coming back down to the weekly and the monthly is sitting right there. So if you're going to give all of this up, okay, then the 2 hour is going to crash down, right? The 2 hour is going to see a big dip. I think the time where you know like Tesla has really based out is when the swing trade pops up, right? When the 2 hour curls down and curls back up. When the 2 hour curls down and curls back up on your MACD, I think that's what you're overall looking for. So we did just go through all those times where, you know, the market is technically saying 2 hour pullback, but we could see 15-minute rig moves up. But for now, guys, I just wanted to say, I really appreciate you guys coming to the live video. I do have to hop off. I tried to go an extra 25 minutes because I wanted to hang out with you guys and watch this stuff. Just manage your risk, guys. You really got to manage your risk. We could see little 15-minute bounces. This is in no way looking like, to me, the dollar is popping off. So we could be seeing a rigged move, but they could be putting that money into other things. So we'll pay attention to that. Remember, we get data in the morning, but I do have to hop off right now. I really do appreciate you guys coming by today. I really do. If there's going to be an update, you know, I still watch the stocks all day. So keep your notifications on. Make sure you're subscribed because I do like to come back towards the end of the day if I'm seeing more craziness. But as of right now, I think you have a good likelihood to see some kind of bounce from the 15-minute. That's my overall take as of right now. And I think that what we're going to see is most likely some kind of bounce, and then we'll have to see, is that going to fully recover, or I'm kind of leaning towards, hey, we're going to bounce, and then we're going to see that start to dramatically drop, get this MACD a little bit deeper. But I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for showing up today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go spend some time with the girls, try to have myself a good lunch, and I encourage you to do the same. Congratulations to everyone who was able to make money today. I love the fact that we're in here today, like every single morning, the same people showing up, liking the video, getting more new people involved. For now, I'm going to go hang out with the girls. If you want to get that course for $100, you got like an hour, but I'm going to start working on the swing trading course so that people can get that over the weekend because it seems people are really interested in that. So thank you guys so much for joining. I wish you nothing but luck for the rest of your trading for the rest of the day. I really, really do. I want you guys to win. That is the overall sentiment I have whenever I show up here every day. I want to help you guys out in any way that I can and try to be very clear with my help. That way you can benefit, try to make money off the market. And congratulations to those who were able to make some money over today's price action, because last night we said, hey, this looks like some kind of top could be forming right now. And, well, we go higher for a brief moment this morning, and then we don't. So thank you guys so much for watching today, and I hope you guys have a great day, all right? Peace. Oh, yeah, and I'll see you tonight on YouTube. Don't worry about it. I got a YouTube video for you tonight, okay? We'll break this stuff down. I'll see you guys later.